Hello, hello, hello. What's good, YouTubers and Game of Throners? It's Tuesday night, so it's one more time to get down that rabbit hole. It is the day, the time, and you already know. I was ready to do that. I was trying to hit mute and didn't get there in time. Sitting there fumbling the words, trying to get there in time to mute it, and still couldn't get it done. What's good with you this week, Snafu?
Sorry about that. I was cracking up too much because I clicked over and I thought that might have been me and it was in my headphone, but it wasn't. I should have known.
Oh yeah.
Should have known. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about Mr. Nimble Dick here. That's a wonderful nickname. I don't know. He's a hilarious character, and we're gonna continue on our thing where we kind of talk about book characters that really this is one that not a lot of people are going to talk about, right? Like previously we talked about a couple of characters. We talked about the guy with the harp last week for a minute.
Bael the Bard.
And Bael the Bard. Bael the Bard people know about, so I think it's kind of a fun thing to talk about someone that even if you watch a lot of YouTube videos, you're probably not going to see too much about Nimble Dick because it's not a major character. It's not a major player, but he has some shining moments in the story. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely. Nimble Dick, what do you think? Was he a hero or a con man? I mean, just a quick summary. We're going to get into it, but was he a hero or was he a con man? What do you think? His true essence.
You know, I like everybody in the story. You're not one or the other, but he is a contradiction in that he is constantly mad at Brienne for not trusting him, even before she catches him trying to steal money. Right? So he's trying to steal gold out of her sack, her purse pouch or whatever this shit is, and she, being the smart lady that she is, only keeps like coppers and shit in her pouch. She keeps all her dragons on her, sewn into her clothes. But she puts flour in there to make it seem more full. So he sticks his hand there, and she's going pee, and he's trying to steal the gold. Podrick catches him with his hand in the purse, and he's like, "I'm not doing anything." He can't pull his hand out, and he's got flour all over it, so he can't even like deny it. So it's just a funny thing. And even after that happens, he for some reason believes that Brienne should trust him. But in the end, right, he does stick around and get killed for the cause. Like, he could have ran. He could have been cowardly and ran. He didn't have to hang around. But instead he gets his face bashed in by a mace.
It wasn't a mace. It was a morning star. Ugh. Well, yeah, some same things. Sick bastard, poor little guy. He went out like a champion, and I mean, we're gonna get into it. But Nimble Dick, I mean, like you said, you can't really say is he a con man or was he a hero, because just like most of George's characters, he was absolutely a bit of both. Do you think at any point during their travels he was thinking about screwing them? Like, if there was a time, like say he would have found the golden dragons in those saddlebags, you think he would have jumped on a horse and been out and tried to screw them over?
Oh yeah, because remember that he sold the Brave Companions that map with like to the port, but he didn't tell them that it wasn't like nobody used it anymore. So
well,
he's already
asked?
No, but that's what we're saying. You were saying is that like he would be shady, and even when they're coming, like it's kind of shitty because Brienne thinks that the fool that they're chasing is what's his name? Dantos, right? So she thinks that that's the guy, the fool they're chasing. Because if for anybody that doesn't know, they go into like a bar or some shit. She's asking for a fool. She's trying to find a fool and a lady or whatever. And then Nimble Dick's like, well, he sold them a map to go to this area, and he still goes like. He still takes them to that area, or Brienne about it. And she promises 2 gold dragons, so he's going to do it for the dragons. And it's sad because Brienne's like, well, Dantos isn't gonna hurt him for selling them a shit map, and then in reality, they find the brave companions there, and that's the fool that they were really following, and they're definitely gonna kill him over a shit map.
Shagwell.
Yeah.
Ugh, dirty little bastard. That was awesome, though. And I mean, were you tripping? Who did you think was following them when they were on their way through that trip? Who did you think that was going to end up being? Or did you just think it was going to be nobody?
No, I thought for sure that it was going to be like as someone to help him out. Like, I didn't trust him the whole time. You know, cause early on,
you didn't trust him.
Yeah. So, and then I'm like, Brienne, she's like, oh, that motherfucker, this is someone to come help him out, and he's going to try to steal my money. But, or she thinks that he's going to try to kill her or something. Whatever. But yeah, I seriously thought it was someone coming to help. But I liked, like, what else is good about Nimble Dick? He has good stories, right?
Oh, he's a superstar.
The squishers.
Oh, what's up? Before we get into it, we want to welcome everybody that jumped in here. Thanks for being here with us. And we're going to be talking about some Nimble Dick, a Maester, a Dick, and a Beauty. What's up, Shannon Thompson? Cameo, thanks for being here. Bridge 4, what's good, buddy? We got Mother of Krakens in the house, drinks and no things. What's up, Bubba Husky? Good to see you, buddy. Definitely got a bunch of people jumping in. Thanks so much for being here with us, kicking it. Definitely going to be going deep down the rabbit hole today. Phantom D Saint, you already know it's already there. And yeah, we're going to be talking a Nimble Dick. Imagination Realm, thanks for being here. Love that article that you put up earlier. That was awesome. You've hit me up on Facebook once. My one Facebook was always shit. It never worked. I tried to talk to them. They never got back to me. I tried to cancel it forever. Couldn't do it. And then one day I hit delete and it actually deleted. So I deleted that. I'm going to try to come back up. But yeah, that's why I never got back to you on there. Yeah, I don't know what the hell was up with that. I'm never on Facebook anyway, but so I was killed it. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for being here. And yeah, we're definitely getting ready to get down with some Nimble Dick stories because he was a trooper, a superstar, one of a kind. Gotta love him. Hooked up at the Stinking Goose. I mean, what greater name for a bar is that? I mean, if you're going to be at a bar, wouldn't you want to hang out at the Stinking Goose, Andy?
Well, yeah, you get to meet storytellers like Nimble Dick. I mean, and he's quick-witted too. That's like a funny, a good thing about him. One, let's name some positives about Nimble Dick. One, great nickname. Two, great stories. Or lore, shit that he believes, I guess. And then 3, he is pretty quick-witted. He's like a funny dude, just in his replies and just kind of a crass dude. Plus, the boldness of a guy to complain that people don't trust you after they already caught you trying to steal. That's amazing.
Oh, he has the silver tongue of a singer. Are you kidding me? Old Dick's a harmless fellow, chivalrous as a knight, and honest as the day is long. I mean, if you ask him, that's exactly how he'd describe himself. He was no Jaime Lannister. He was scrawny and ill-fed. His only armor was a dented half-helm spotted with rust. In place of a sword, he carried an old, dented dagger. He doesn't even have a sword. I mean, how dangerous could this guy be, right?
Oh, no. Here, when you said we were going to talk about him, this was something I was thinking because you asked about that. Was he a good character? Here's the problem here's how you know he's not a good dude. He carries a dagger. How many people do we know in this story that are good people that carry daggers?
Dude, not many.
Yeah.
Not many. I don't know because Brienne carries a dagger up her sleeve, so everybody could consider her good.
Yeah, but her primary weapon's a sword. Like a dagger. I mean, daggers are always getting used for shady shit. That's all I'm saying. Like someone that's primary weapon is a dagger, not a good dude.
Or to stop some shady shit. I mean, Yoren used a dagger to stop that Kingsguard from taking Gendry.
True.
I mean, that was a good use of a dagger. So I mean,
But is he a good dude? Can we say he's a completely good dude?
Yoren? What part of Yoren was not good? Yoren's almost right there with Jon Snow is almost the only good character in this story.
I don't know. I'm just saying we can't. There's only a couple really good characters.
He did give a miner some alcohol. He was letting Arya get drunk with him. So I don't know. I guess
maybe he was slipping some stuff in it.
No,
maybe he's one of those dudes.
Yoren rode so hard to King's Landing to warn Ned he damn near killed his horse. I mean, Yoren's a hero his damn self. Yoren is totally a hero. Absolutely a hero.
I'm just saying. So maybe we should do one on him, right? No.
Yeah, we might have to, dude. Yoren was a pimp, dude. He gave his life to save a bunch of people that weren't even his brothers yet. They're just on their way to the wall, and he still gave his life to save them. I mean, that sounds like hero to me. Speaking of heroes, every location had its legends and local heroes, but according to Nimble Dick, there was none greater than Sir Clarence Crabb. Conveniently, there was no greater house throughout the years than that House Crabb.
Exactly. So for anybody that doesn't know, that was like his real name is not Nimble Dick, but what was his first name? I forget. Whatever it is.
Nimble Dick Crabb. Are you kidding me?
I'm pretty sure. Is his name really Nimble Dick? I'm pretty sure it's not.
Well, his name's Dick Crabb, but they call him Nimble Dick.
Yeah. Dick Crabb. That's great.
I mean,
it's great. But yeah. So his hero, because every house has their heroes, right? Or every section of Westeros has their hero that they talk about, like a Brienne the Builder type or whatever. So right. and theirs is a crab, because what are they? They're basically like hill tribes, right? These houses all in this area are constantly warring, but every once in a while they get along. And then one of those once in a whiles was when his ancestor, whoever you just said, Crab, he was such a badass that everybody was scared of him. Like, he was able to get everybody to get along because he could kill them all, right? Do you remember all that?
I remember they said, like, even they were either fighting other people, and when they weren't fighting other people, they were always fighting amongst themselves until there was, like, one house or one hero that was strong enough to keep everybody in line. But as soon as that person died, everybody was right back to battling. I don't know if that was necessarily a crab that was the one they actually talked about, but
he says that was one of them. One of those times was the guy. What was his name? I need to remember that. The hero.
Oh, the Sir Clarence Crabb.
Clarence Crabb.
He was 8 feet tall. What was he? I don't remember exactly, but I think he was like 8 feet tall, and he was he weighed so much that he had to ride an oryx.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then, so how some of the great deeds of Clarence Crabb one of them is that if he was to fight a dragon, he doesn't need a sword. He could tie its neck in a knot, so that anytime it tried to shoot flames, it would shoot fire up its own ass.
Dude, that was awesome. That was, you can't meet any. I mean, that's pretty dope. And that's when Brienne was talking about Sir Gelladin, her own hero, and her little magic knight, which we're about to get into, or his little magic sword. But Nimble Dick was like, Sir Clarence didn't need any magic swords. He just went up, wrestled the dragon, and the way he slayed him was tying his neck together. So, I mean, come on. He was probably one of the biggest all-stars of this whole story. They need more on Clarence Crabb.
Yeah. And just like he kind of set the mood for Brienne chapters. It kind of sucked when he died, right? Because that was really the highlight of her chapters, in my opinion, all his stuff. Because he would just be going on, freaking everybody out. Plus, you got, like, Podrick that's with him. So when he's talking about the Squishers, so for anybody that doesn't know, Squishers are kind of like goblins in lore, kind of. They kill all the men, and then they take the women, and they breed with them, right? So that's what. But they make a squishing sound when they walk, so that's why they call them the Squishers. And
they look like humans, but their heads are bigger, and they have scales where their hair should be. I remember that about them.
Yeah, and then there's like the severed heads, right? That
The whispers.
They were supposed to be down in the ground, and they whisper, but it's like the ocean and the sound of the ocean going through the rocks. But when he's telling these stories, Podrick's like freaking out, right? Like Podrick's kind of getting scared because when they see the rider behind, Podrick's scared that it's a squisher, and then Brienne's like, it's not a squisher. And she's like, Podrick, stop being an idiot. And then Nimble Dick's like, yeah, that's not a squisher. They don't ride horses. Like,
oh, so close. Yeah, exactly. Like, that couldn't be just because they don't ride horses. Like, it's just keeping the story alive. No, he was the ultimate storyman. And he made it real. And by the end of it, when they started creeping up closer to where they were going, they were freaking, even Brienne was like, is that somebody whispering? Like, she was already starting to, like, it was starting to sink in. So he was a hell of a storyteller.
Yeah, it's just funny. And I don't know. I like people that have that kind of confidence in, like, that what they're telling is not true. They know that what they're telling is not true. But they have such confidence that you're like, I kind of want to believe them.
Right.
And he is that character. It freaking cracks me up.
Do you think, because Brienne told the story of her own local hero, Sir Galladon of Morn, and he was dubbed the perfect knight. Is that basically what you think Brienne aspired to be her entire life?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I'm sure she sees herself that way because so think about how the end of that chapter goes where, they meet the brave companions and she gives Nimble Dick her sword and has him give her Oathkeeper. So she sees herself in that way because Sir Galladon, he didn't use his magic sword against people. So even though she has this awesome ass sword that's better than most of the swords in Westeros, she doesn't use it. She doesn't carry it. That doesn't so she wants to be like that. She wants a fair fight, whereas she has a sword that gives her an edge. She wants to win on pure talent. And so I think she sees herself in that way and aspires to be that. And that's evidence of that because it's in the same chapter. And I think they're just telling you.
Absolutely. And that is a great point about that. Because Sir Galladon was a champion of such valor that the maiden herself lost her heart to him. She gave him an enchanted sword as a token of her love. And the just maid was what the sword was called. No common sword could check her, and no shield could withstand her kiss. Sir Galladon bore the sword proudly, but only unsheathed it 3 times. Literally only broke that bad boy out 3 different times, for it was no fair match against any mortal man. Once he used it to slay a dragon, and that's, of course, when Dick had to break out like, my man's Crackbone slayed a dragon too, but he didn't need no magic sword. That was a great story. But I wonder, do you have any idea, or do you ever think, like, what do you think the other 2 times he might have broke that magic sword out? Once to slay a dragon, and he never really broke it out against anybody? I mean, what could possibly be the other 2 times that he did decide to break it out?
All right, just a second. Bridge has a good point that she was trying to hide, who she was. So she wouldn't be recognized. That's why she didn't have the sword. I believe that's a pretty good point. That may be the case. Can't remember exactly.
Well, she was hiding her valuables, but she could have been walking around with that. But yeah, Valyrian steel would have definitely brought way too much attention to her, for sure.
Well,
even Nimble Dick, who doesn't have a sword, knew instantly how badass the sword that was when he saw it.
But he knew from the hilt, I think, like all the rubies and shit in it.
Right, which is what a lot of people that don't even know Valyrian steel would be attracted to. So that's one more reason why you'd have to hide it away.
Yeah. All right, so that I still think that that's representative, but that's a very good point. But okay, so the other 2 times he had to bust it out. Like most things, I think they're just stories. But like I was telling you, I sent you that message earlier that this story is kind of meant to sound like Azor Ahai, kind of, right? Like this magic sword that can, kill dragons or whatever. And the more I thought about it, though, the more I was like, it kind of sounds like the Night King from what we know now, in the show at least. So he kills a dragon with it, right? and it can cut through regular swords. Like, you can't block the Night's King's blade, except for Valyrian steel. And we haven't really seen him kill anybody aside from the dragon, right?
Which he brought. I mean, he's killed tons of people, but he just brings them all back to life.
But we haven't seen him personally kill anybody.
Huh.
We've seen other whites,
right,
and White Walkers do it, but not the Night's King.
So, do you think the Night's King is Sir Galladon?
I think it could be, and that's what I'm saying. The story, it's kind of like a flip on the head to like where Brienne sees this person as a hero, and we think it could be it sounds kind of like an Azor Ahai figure, but in reality, it could be the other side, and he's heroic just on the other side.
I was thinking it was flipped the other way, and that was one of the other two, or one of the 3 times that he had to unsheath it, because it was no fair match for a mortal man, but the Night's King sure as hell ain't no mortal man, so that was probably once and maybe both other times that he had to unsheath it was to take out the Night's King the past times, because like you said, this is a cycle, and this isn't the first time the Night's King's come back. Sam's already read about this in books down in the library at Castle Black, so we know this isn't the first time the Night's King and the Whites have come. This is a cycle that keeps happening. They wasn't dead, old man, they was asleep. So basically, I think one of those times, maybe both those other times, was to kill the Night's King. What do you think about that?
And so, in this area that Brienne's from, it's just that's their version of the story. So every time, it's just a Sir Galladon. Like, Sir Galladon gets the credit for the deeds of everybody, because it would have to happen every 2,000 years, right?
Right.
So multiple times. So it's this sword. So the sword has only been unsheathed 3 times. That's a good point. Like, this is just another morphing of their story, of the Azor Ahai or the Prince that was promised, or those kind of stories, and they have their own version of it. It's a good
What's
point,
good?
DJ.
We got my man Dragon just hit the chat. What's up, JD? Good to see you, buddy. But yeah, I definitely think since they didn't tell it, they kept it a secret. Why tell us that they only unsheathed it 3 times and only tell us one of the times? So I mean, there's got to be a reason, and I think one of those reasons is maybe this is some kind of magic sword or a hint of what the people today are going to have to do to take out the Night's King.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think there's a lot of everybody's hero. You got to pay real close attention to every heroes that they talk about, every person that's a hero of a certain area, and assume that just like gods, they're all talking about the same person. I think that's a fair assumption to make for the most part, is that these grand figures that they talk about are just like the gods, or just like how the faceless men see the gods, that everybody has different names for the god, but they're all the same god. And right. Just like like I said before with the ghost grass, that's clearly like the Dothraki's version of the White Walkers. So we have a few examples of that where it's just the same person being called a bunch of different things.
Absolutely. I love how Bridge4 is just dropping little lines from like the chapter and shit. He's like, in this area, Targaryen, like, because how he's always like, around these parts, we're all good Targaryen men. That's right, Targaryen men. That was awesome. And you know what other name that got dropped? What was the last castle that they went by? The Brune Castle, which obviously our man, what do we know about Brune? Our man Sir Lothar Brune, Littlefinger's #1 henchman. So what's up with that situation?
Oh, I don't even know. That's like, I didn't even catch that as much as you.
Oh yeah, dude.
I didn't even think about that.
First, as soon as I read that, I was like, Brune, I always wondered where that mother came from. It's like, I thought he was from the Fingers, but wait, he's like from a regal family, and he comes from a lord. I mean, his dad has a castle, so it's about something. And around these parts, we're all loyal Targaryen men. So obviously this fits in to Littlefinger scheming, trying to do his thing, and Brune going to help him overthrow him because he's all down to get rid of Robert and the Starks because they overthrew his king because he's a true Targaryen man.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's a good thought. I like the thought process there, figuring out why someone would do something. See, I don't even catch little things like that. Probably because I'm so terrible with names. So
yeah, exactly. That's definitely part of it. If you don't know what names are coming with what, it's hard to put it together. But that's what I'm here for, and then you just fill in the blanks. What's up, LMR? Good to see you. Amazing streams earlier. Good job. That was awesome seeing my man that actually had, connected with Game of Thrones, and you got him on. That was tight. Well done. Well done.
Nice.
We got
what was the other stuff they went by? What was the castle they saw the lady's face looking down at? You remember that?
Oh yeah.
I don't think it was really a castle, but
well, no, it kind of was, and they said old Lord so and so wouldn't be up there. Is too old to be up there walking the battlements, so it wouldn't be him.
Yeah, and like all the sons went off and died in the war. So.
Right. And that's what, God dang. And then they said when they look back, and that's when they actually saw the person following them, and they're like, oh, that could be one of so-and-so's men returning home from a war. God dang, what was his name? I got a total mind block on that. But yeah, that was.
I just thought that was weird because like it looked. I don't know. That was just a weird thing like to put in there.
It might have been. Was it Boxes?
Something like that. It sounds.
Might have been Boxes because
familiar.
Dick said there were crabs, Bruins, and Bogses with Rhaegar at the Trident and in the Kingsguard too. Dick says we're all good dragon men up Crackclaw Way. That's funny. That was the next thing I had. We just got to that. So yeah, I mean, it might have been the Bogses, but I'm not 100% on that one. But yeah, I thought that was pretty tight when we heard about the Brune Castle being the last one right there, and it was actually a major castle. I was like, oh shit, he's up there scheming with Littlefinger, trying to get shit done. When Brienne hesitated before they entered those caverns, Nimble Dick said, what are you waiting for? Old Crabb's been dead 1,000 years. Old Crab? So basically is Nimble Dick saying, is Nimble Dick a faceless man? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
But for real, though, why did he say Old Crab's been dead 1,000 years? Is this basically Nimble Dick's old keep? Was like this? Is this his old family stead?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And it was like kind of a joke because he because he was talking about Clarence Crabb, right, and how badass he was, and that he would kick her hero's ass, right? So that's what he was saying, and I don't know. I'd like to look at the lighthearted of it, but it could be something darker. Like I don't know where you're going with it, but I just thought that. I thought he was saying like, oh, don't, my story was scaring you. Don't worry about it. He's been dead a while. Like my hero, my badass hero. But
right, I was just kind of looking at like, oh, Crab's been dead, which means it was the Crab who was the old, owner of this castle. And this castle's obviously old and ancient. It's fallen apart and it's done. So maybe this is like his old family castle. He's just an offshoot, maybe not from this place, but he used to hang out here as a kid or something a lot because he obviously knows it real well and how to get in and out of there like nobody else can.
True.
But I just thought that was kind of a trip when he said that. I was like, oh, Crab's been dead. I was like, is this his old place? Like he's bringing her. And that's when I kind of thought, shit, maybe he is going to twist on her. I was like, because I kind of thought he was just kind of a laugh, good old guy. But yeah, right then I was like, oh, maybe he is going to double cross her right there. So yeah, that was a trip.
No, I'm pretty sure he was planning to double cross her the whole time. But like if he was going to help her because 2 dragons is kind of a lot for someone that's getting hammered at a bar.
Yeah, just try to get those dragons in balance because at that point when I heard about that was the other thing. I was like, old Dick Crabb's been dead 1,000 years. I was like, shit, is this even really Nimble Dick? Or is he just somebody that overheard some, chumps looking for something? And he's like, yeah, I'll snake this lady out of a couple dragons. I'll say my name's Nimble Dick and take her out there, which would be kind of a trip.
Yeah, so I think so he wants the 2 dragons, right? So if he gets the opportunity, he's gonna double cross her, steal from her, do whatever he can. But if the opportunity doesn't come, then he still gets 2 dragons. So, and
either way,
he gets his two. Yeah, he gets his 2 dragons in the end, though.
That was just crazy. I know. And later on, Brienne, when she lays him down, when she goes to build that grave, she's like, he was a crab. This was his place. So, I mean, that kind of tells you that he really was a crab. Speaking of, was Brienne a moron for dropping those 2 gold dragons in the grave?
I mean, kind of, but...
I mean, people are starving all over Westeros, and she's just dropping 2 gold dragons in the dirt. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, it was, and the guy does say that, whatever his name was.
Sir Hyle Hutt.
Yeah.
He's just like, and that's another thing. Do you think maybe like when she wasn't looking, Sir Hyle Hunt like reached down and grabbed those dragons? I sure shit no, I would have.
Yeah, me too, probably.
Right.
But the big thing is like you want him to have a peaceful life or a peaceful rest. If someone finds out that you buried 2 gold dragons with him, he's getting dug up for sure. So
yeah. It's just, or you just know where there's 2 gold dragons if you ever fall in hard times later in life, I guess, if you can find your way back there. But damn.
Oh, that's true. Damn, that's a good idea.
You know what I mean? It's like you got some buried treasure in a sense, basically. Because, yeah, no way you're just going to leave 2 dragons laying in the dirt when half the freaking countryside is like in famine and dying. It's like, shit, not me.
Well, that's kind of that messed up sense of honor, though, in Westeros. Like, certain people have that.
But what's the honor when people are starving and you're just literally throwing money in the dirt?
That's what I'm saying. It's that kind of messed up sense of honor where, like, she told this person if he did this thing, then she would give him the 2 dragons. So she buried him with 2 dragons because that was to be honorable. She has to keep her word, but in reality, that's not really the honorable thing to do, but based on the code that she lives by, that is the right thing to do. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it is. I mean, it's an honor thing, honor system, but well, yeah, I know there's 2 golden dragons in the dirt. I'm going to go back and get them. I was like, shit, too many people going hungry.
But that's like, maybe it's not an exact comparison, but was it honorable for Ned to be like, to tell Cersei, hey, I'm about to rat you out to my friend here. You need to get out of here. She wasn't being honorable. What does she deserve your courtesy for? Fuck that.
Because it doesn't matter about her honor. It's about his honor.
Exactly. And that's what Brienne's doing. It doesn't matter about all the people starving. It matters about her honor.
Yeah, we're going to be getting into that too. But when Brienne offered Nimble Dick her sword, he slashed at the air and said, the sword makes the Lord, some say. Do you think that sentence had like a deeper hidden meaning? Kind of like whoever shows up with Blackfire is going to be the true king? Or did you think something with that when you read it?
No, I did not think that. But I'm thinking that now. It's like you in Bridge 4. Like, I watched some of Bridge 4's. Yes, I'm going to go off a little tangent here. You guys have way more information, like little with names and details. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even think of that. Like, you guys are way more in depth. I'm just like a stupid person walking along a trail and like, oh, look at that tree, look at that. And you guys are like, oh, that's a fucking great pine. It's 250 years old. And I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. What is going on here? I'm just pointing at a tree like, oh, the tree. So I just wanted to point that out and make it feel dumb.
I disagree. I disagree. You're one of the best to bounce crazy theories off and be able to either debunk them or say, yeah, that's plausible, or definitely got to be super quick-witted, and you definitely keep up. So, yeah, I call bullshit on all that.
I'm just saying, sometimes I feel, I'm like, dang, DJ, how did I not catch that? DJ catching it, but, yeah.
Oh, dude, after your 3rd time, you're looking and reading every single word like, that means something. Nope, that's a trick. Absolutely. But you were talking about Ned. When Ned was in the Black Cells, Varys said if he confessed and named Joffrey king, he believes that Cersei will let him live out his days at the Wall. Ned says, you think I'd sell out my honor for a few more years of what? And then kind of looked around and like he was daydreaming of what life would be at the Wall. And he was like, fuck that. So if he knows how shitty life at the Wall really was, why the hell did he let Jon go? And why did he even let his brother Benjen go? He was like, shit, I'm not trying to spend 1 week at the Wall. You know what I mean? He'd rather get his head snipped than do that shit. What?
I don't know. That's kind of a weird one, right? Like,
yeah.
Do you think it has to do with his honor, kind of? Like, you're dishonored if you know,
Well, he
even
said he didn't care. He said specifically, "You think my honor means so much to me?" So he didn't give a shit about his honor.
Oh, I think he gives a shit about his honor. You think he's just like that good of a dude? It's not really about the honor. He was just taught about honor, and he truly believes all that.
Yeah, and I believe, like he said, he's like, I'm a soldier. He's like, he told Varys, he's like, you're an actor. You learned your role well. It's like, I'm a soldier. I learned how to die a long time ago. So, yeah, I do believe that.
Yeah, I always think that about him too, because there's no real, like, I don't know. I was hoping that you would say something different, honestly. But
what was that? What'd you think?
well, because I think he's people talk about he's dumb and stuff, and I just thought he was like a good dude, and you kind of get that blind spot of where you think that everybody else thinks the same way you do. You know what I'm talking about? Like he understands people aren't total, they're not going to be as honorable as him 100%, but he does think that like people will generally do the right thing or try to do the right thing.
Which
That's
is why
why
he said anything to Cersei in the first place.
yeah. So so he can't even fathom people making decisions outside of his own mind. So I don't know. I think he would let John go up there because he thinks that John's safer there. Even though he'll suffer, he did make that promise to his sister, and yeah, I think he just thinks they'll be safer there, right? Especially if you go in thinking that okay, I have Jorah Mormont there. Oh, so he's gonna do the right thing. I don't know. That's a weird one. Why, if he thought it was so bad, why would he let his little brother at least? I can understand John.
Even John, but yeah, why would he ever let Ben go there unless, I mean, did he send Ben there out of anger, or did Benjen say screw you and leave out of anger? I mean, I still think it all has to do with that Rhaegar and Lyanna situation, because obviously I think Benjen was the Stark and Winterfell when all that battling was going on, and basically he's the one who let Rhaegar take Lyanna. Which I don't know, I mean, can you really stop a prince from doing anything he wants to do at that point?
Yeah, not really. I guess you could stop a prince.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, depending on who you are. I mean, you got freaking Tyrion that smacked the shit out of Joffrey.
Right, but that's his own blood. I mean, that's a whole different thing. But I don't know if you read the Dunk and Egg stories, but they got a whole little thing that happened because Dunk decided to knock the shit out of a Targaryen.
No, I didn't read it. So
oh, you gotta get up on some Dunk and Egg, because we definitely gotta. I'm gonna be doing some Dunk and Egg streams. You're definitely gonna have to get down on that, because I love me some Dunk and Egg.
All right, let me finish this read through, and then I'll read Dunk and Egg. And whatever the freaking blood and fire and blood, I gotta get that too.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Now I know you're kind of on the backside of that. Let's just start picking when we do the book characters. I'll start picking kind of the progression where you are in the books, and we'll do one of those, because you're at the best parts now, getting ready to get into Dance of Dragons.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So should Robb have counter-offered Walder Frey? I mean, we already know that Catelyn is the worst negotiator of all time. But she comes back, and I mean, Walder Frey said he wanted a squire that he expected to be knighted, which the Northerners don't even have knights. Freaking Arya's hand in marriage and the marriage of the hand of the king. I was like, dude, we're gonna be taking some of that off the table. I was like, come on.
Yeah, that is just terrible negotiation from the get-go on that. I remember when I first read that a long time ago, I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's a terrible plan. What are you doing? Dude, that is terrible. Like, you just have to agree to it? Nah. Like, I feel like making one of your granddaughters or daughters a queen, that's a pretty good deal. Like, But I don't know. That seemed like a lot, especially with all his shitty kids. You know, Fat Walter and freaking little, little shit.
Well, he's doing whatever he can. I'm surprised he didn't try to pump a few more out of there and get some more on. But still, I was just like, how? I mean, when do you say when? It's like, man, they got to do it. But come on.
It's just like that Weasley, but that kind of it makes him a really good character because that like the Red Wedding fits in so well with his character. He's really well written that he would try to weasel all these things with doing as little as possible. Like his name's already like the late Walder Frey and shit. So that he's a really well fleshed out character in that manner.
Oh, absolutely.
And you just see like
even all the way back to Dunk and Egg, he is, because that's one of the little Easter eggs in Dunk and Egg. They have a little spot of a couple paragraphs about Walder Frey as like a little kid. And even as a tiny little kid, he was just a wet, snot-nosed little shit that nobody could stand. It was awesome. So he didn't change in the 100 years he's been around. Exactly how Bubba Husky, me and him, we're on the same wavelength too many times. But yep, exactly. Walder Frey was just a crying, whiny little snot-nosed shit that nobody could handle. Like, nobody liked him. It was awesome. And nothing changed in the 100 years he's been on this earth.
Yeah, but you're right. That's just such a shitty deal. I never really talked about it, but yeah. That's so stupid. How did he get so much shit out of Callan? Like, oh, now you're gonna make me mad about it because I don't like Rob. See, here's something most people don't know. Rob's one of my favorite characters. Like he's definitely top 3 for me. So him getting screwed over like that, stupid mom.
Dude, yeah, she made so many terrible decisions.
He's like, dang it, Mom. I'm just trying to do warlord shit with my friends.
Can't I just be king? Come on.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. No, that's awesome. Speaking of kings and turning it down, do you think Maester Aemon knew the truth about Jon?
Do you think that like Targaryens can smell other Targaryens? I was like, is that your theory on this? Because if that is, I'll totally support it.
No, that's not. I was going more in the fact that he's the Maester. The Maesters are basically the funnels of knowledge. And I mean, yeah, he's stuck up at the wall, but I mean, ravens fly and people come in and out of the Night's Watch, and he's been hearing things for hundreds of years. And I mean, there was probably a Maester at the Tower of Joy. I mean, Ned came in screaming, "Is there a Maester?" So he's thinking there's a Maester there. Yeah, I don't know. I think or maybe none of that. What if Benjen told him? Benjen can know.
Benjen. If you assume Benjen knew, that's a good one. Because okay, here's a. When did Maester Luwin get there?
Maester Luwin bore all of Catelyn's children, so I believe Maester Luwin came with Catelyn from River Run. I think he came with her then when she first came to Winterfell.
So I think he's a bit he's a bit too young, honestly. I mean, too old. Because if whatever his name is, the fat guy finds the book. I'm so fun.
Sam Tarly,
Sam, damn it,
the wizard.
God damn it. If Sam can find the journal, right, and you have this Maester, this dude that wrote down everything, right? Nobody's ever read that journal. You don't think a Maester going in wants to be Maester to like at King's Landing? And if that was your goal, wouldn't you want to read everything you could about like the history of that? So someone else would have found like the annulment shit. And I feel like someone should have looked into that further. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe there's a Maester out there that actually read that. But I'm trying to think about the time frame, like which Maester that would be. Or who could do that. And maybe that information gets up there, but that's why I was thinking Luwin.
Or maybe, yeah. Well, yeah.
But he's too old for that, I think.
Yeah,
so Stannis' Maester, whatever his name is young enough. he could have done it.
Yep, Bridge 4, we don't know what was what or when the actual timeline was, but I just say bail the Bard, so who knows? Maybe Rhaegar already had Lyanna pregnant before they even left Winterfell. Who knows? Who knows how long they were there? Maybe he was hiding in the crypts with her, getting jiggy with it. We need a better timeline.
You guys have some crazy theories. Like, hold on. I watched an episode today. Is the episode where Jon meets Mance Rayder, and I could not watch the episode seriously without trying to like catch anything where it would be like maybe he's Rhaegar and like he's talking to his son. So I'm like, fucking DJ, man, I can't even watch this episode without trying to nitpick freaking interactions between Jon and Mance Rayder. Hate you guys. I'm just.
Yeah, we don't know which one it is. Didn't they meet up in the Riverlands? It's a huge plot point. Yeah, but we don't know. We don't know exactly when or how he took her. So we don't know when they met up. I'm thinking he went straight to Winterfell and it was a Bail the Bard situation.
But, okay, so back to it. How does he know? Sorry. What was your theory on how Maester Aemon knows? Because he was the Maester down there?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying maybe just who knows about the timeline when Rhaegar and Lyanna left, got pregnant, or whatever in that situation. When they came back, maybe Ned told Benjen, maybe Benjen just knew somehow, and he went to the wall to help hold the secret because he thinks everybody should know Jon's true parentage. And Ned was like, "No, I promised our sister, and that's not going to happen." And Benjen's like, "You have no right. He's basically going to be the true king someday." And yeah, so I think they got in a fight, and that's probably the big reason why Benjen went to the wall in the first place. And then I think on an old drunken night, him and Maester Aemon had some talks, and he probably let him know what was what. Especially knowing that Maester Aemon's a Targaryen.
Yeah, I mean, I like my theory that Targaryens can smell each other, but that's definitely plausible.
And if there was a Maester at the Tower of Joy, I mean, all births get cataloged. So basically, Jon Snow's birth was cataloged somewhere. I mean, that could be at the Citadel, and that information could have got up to Maester Aemon. I mean, there's a few little ways it could have happened, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I like how you bring things around to stuff we've already talked about like weeks ago.
Absolutely, because it's the truth, and it's all going to tie in by the end of this. We're going to get there before episode 6. We're going to nail it down.
I'm going to go off on a tangent real quick a second again. I have this theory that George R.R. Martin's not going to finish the books. He's going to die beforehand intentionally so that someone else has to finish the books for him, and so that everybody can get the ending they want, because no one will accept the ending that got written by somebody else. So everybody will play the ending that they wanted in their own head, and thus everyone is happy with the ending of Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire.
That's a terrible idea. I hope that doesn't happen at all.
That's the best theory that you'll hear on this channel, everybody. Promise it. Most plausible one, I mean. Not best. Most plausible.
I don't know about that. We've had some doozies. Some of them, I'd say about 40% of them are going to come around, damn it.
40%? Man, you're high on yourself.
It's coming. Some of them already come. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Maester Aemon, because when I was rewatching that episode the other night, and when Jon says to Maester Aemon, "No one understands. He is my father, and Robb is my brother." And Maester Aemon literally started laughing right then. Now, is he laughing because he knows the truth of Jon Snow, or he just knew that wasn't true? It's like, I think he was laughing because he actually does know the truth of Jon Snow. And Jon's sitting there like, nobody knows. It's like, oh, Maester Aemon knows, believe that.
Yeah, with everything else we talked about, I do like the theory that Benjen would have told him. Because that would be a weird question, right? Even if you are from the north and you're a few places out of succession, it would still be weird, right? Just to send, you have a bright future in front of you, and you just decide to join the Night's Watch. I don't know. Unless you have like a legit reason to be mad about stuff, then Maester Aemon would question that. I mean, smart people are curious, right, by nature. So, I mean, that's pretty good. That he would find out, and then he would probably treat Jon more favorably just because of that. Some nepotism.
Maester Aemon says the gods were cruel when they tested him. He was old and blind and frail, but when I heard they killed my brother's son and the children, and dude, Maester Aemon was getting straight riled up. Dude, it almost sounded like he's been plotting to like almost get Jon from the start. Like it was your dad and it was your dad and his friend that, made that happen. It was your dad and his friend's fault that Rhaegar died and the children got snatched from their bed and brutalized and killed. So if you look at it from that way, maybe Maester Aemon didn't really think about him being a Targaryen. He thought he was a Stark and he was ready to rail Jon and he was already plotting to do some evil shit. What about that?
Nah, I don't like that one so much.
Nobody's gonna like that. Nobody wants to see Maester Aemon as a bad guy, but you gotta look at the other side sometimes.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep my innocent mind and say that he smelt Jon, and no, I'm just kidding. It's a good thought, but I don't think the thing. Even if Maester Aemon, like, could you really blame Ned? I mean, everybody knows the type of dude that Ned is. It'd be tough for anybody to blame Ned for what happened to Rhaegar.
I mean, Rhaegar died at the Trident. I mean, that was a big part Ned's fault. I mean, he was the first one into the throne room. And so maybe in somebody else's eyes, he could have stopped what happened to those kids, but he didn't.
Yeah, he could have, I guess. No, he didn't get there fast enough.
What do you mean?
He didn't get there fast enough to save the kids.
What are you talking about? He was the first one through the door.
Yeah, but how does he save the kids?
Get to the tower before Gregor Clegane climbs up the outside of the tower?
Yeah, but you got to think, like what we talked about earlier with Ned. His assumption is that people are generally like him, and that the women would be protected.
In war, I think I'd have been out there trying to save the royal family. I'd have been, I don't know.
But he thinks that people, I'm telling you, like, it's hard for us as people to truly empathize or say, especially when you live by a strict code, that you realize that some people are going to follow it exactly, but to totally go against everything that the code is, that's kind of shit. Like, I don't know. Great. How does, so Ned's the first one there, but
well, I mean, Tywin's army's there. Tywin's the one that basically he's there first, and they open up the gates for him, and then basically Tywin's army starts sacking the city.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So how is he the first one then? How can he say it?
Well, they said Ned was the first one into the throne room. So obviously Ned was right there on the heels with them. Like they opened up the gate, and Ned and his army was right there as well. He had to be the first one in the throne room, or Tywin would have been in there.
Yeah, but he was going in to get the king, so there's no way to I don't think you can blame him for that. That's my point. Like, so he wants to go in and take out the king. He doesn't think that Tywin's gonna send one of his dogs to go kill the princess and shit. Yeah. That doesn't seem like something. If you are as honorable as Ned, you wouldn't expect people to do that. Yeah, you've seen war, and you see that people can be shit. So he probably expected some raping. So, but I don't
so
think.
At the very least, wouldn't you go up and get Elia and try to save Rhaegar's wife if you know that's probably going to be a thing?
Maybe, but wouldn't you be a hypocrite for letting it happen to all the the farmers' daughters and shit. But then this.
Well, I mean, lords protected other nobles before they worried about the little plebs in the field. That's just the way it was back then.
Yeah, but we're talking about Honorable Ned Stark here. He's just on control of freaking Tywin's people. I don't know. I gotta keep my rose-colored glasses on. Let me keep my rose-colored glasses on. Stop trying to ruin Ned and Aemon for me. Don't try to ruin them for me.
Oh, they're not as good as he thought they were. Jaime killed the king when Aerys calls for Tywin's head by coming through. He saved the people of the King's Landing. Absolutely. Absolutely correct, but Jaime's still a dick.
Yeah, Jaime's awesome. Jaime is an example of what we have to do in our everyday life. We got to give people a chance to redeem themselves. And that it's a tough road to redeem you. Like, it's not as simple as that you can fix everything you've done.
I don't know. Just because you pushed a kid out the window with that hand and you get that hand chopped off, I don't know if that's enough. I mean,
yeah,
I still don't know if that's enough.
You got to work towards being a better person, though.
Pushed a little kid out a window. It might just time for you to bite a bullet and be gone.
But then think of all the bad stuff that happens if what happens to Brienne if he's not there? Oh, we didn't even talk about that because Nimble Dick starts singing like the Bear and the Maiden Fair at some point in the stone. Sorry, we're already past that. Whatever.
No, it's fine, but I just think that was a popular song. I didn't really look that much into it. I just think that's like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It's just a song known worldwide, and that's just something people sing.
Yeah, for sure it is. But I just thought it was funny to happen in Brienne's chapter, and because he doesn't sing the whole song, so he's that type of person. He's like, that's what's great about him too, is he's like all of us, right? We don't know all the words of the song. We know the chorus, and we sing. He's just singing all the choruses to all the songs and shit. So he's funny in that way. So he's more relatable because he doesn't know all the words. So he just sings a different song. But they pointed that one out, so I thought it was funny. Going back, Jaime saves Brienne. He has no reason to save her. He doesn't need to save her, and he does. He's making better choices. In the show, it's taken him till this season to really make good choices. But he's already in the books. He's making better choices before the more he's separated from Cersei, the better of a dude he is. Can we agree with that?
Sure, there's no doubt about that. Everybody, the farther they get away from Cersei, the better off they are. There's no doubt about that.
So he has like a good redemption, but I think people like you that are against Jaime are important because it makes it should be a long road to redemption when you tried to kill a kid. But do you like the Mountain? I mean, the Hound?
I love the Mountain. Not the biggest fan of the Hound.
So, okay, you love the Mountain.
Yeah.
He smashed the baby's head and then rapes the mom with brain still on his hands.
Oh, dude, you want a villain? Be a fucking villain. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, like, as a person, like, I even like the Hound, and the Hound splits in half a kid, basically, the butcher's boy.
Yeah, exactly. So, ran down on somebody is like, yeah, I mean, and so the Lord of Light, I guess judged him fairly on that, but I don't. Dude, you could have just kept right. You could have done whatever. Like, you don't need to. You could have just said you didn't find him. You don't have to just ride down the butcher's boy like that. You could have been like, man, he's gone. I don't know what happened to him. Like, you're one man. He could have went any direction. You could have been riding the wrong direction. I don't know. He didn't have to ride down the butcher's boy. Even Ned Stark was like, "You sick pig."
But he understands. Like, he comes to terms with his nature, and I think that's what makes him be able to change. Is like he actually understands his nature, that he likes killing and stuff. And really, that's kind of him dying. that helps in him being able to reconcile or, become more peaceful, digging graves and whatnot.
You got the ladies on your side. We got a bunch of, you got the Game of Theories with Marie. You got Amanda, hashtag Team Jamie. So you got some Jamie fans in the chat on your side. I don't know, man. I don't know. Where's my man JD? I don't see him out there. I think he's on my side. You don't get redemption for pushing a kid out the window. It's funny. It's depending on who I talk to, I'm real quick to jump on either side of Jamie. Like if you said you hated Jamie, I'd be the one sitting here sticking up, telling you all the great things about Jamie and why he's the man.
I'm kind of the same way. Like I won't go as hard against like not liking Jamie, but if someone really likes Jamie, I'll be like, yeah, but can you really come back? Like, I'd argue the other side too. Absolutely. But I personally like Jamie. I think that redemption is important, and the fact that you give someone the opportunity for redemption is important. So, me as being the good person that I am, I give Jamie that opportunity.
Give Jamie the benefit of the doubt.
Because, he kind of gets the shit end, right? Like, people assume the worst of him, right? And even, like, yeah, he was sitting on the throne, which is kind of shitty. But
he was sitting on the stairs to the throne. Was he actually sitting on the throne?
I think he was sitting on the throne.
I think you're right. I think he was actually sitting on the throne.
Because he says, I just wanted to see how comfortable it was or something. Something to that effect, like see what it felt like. And
Ned came in, and that's the other thing. Everybody says that thinks Jamie would just whoop up on Ned so fast. I mean, it could have been a political move, but Ned came in there, sword bared, said, "Get your ass off that seat," and Jamie got his ass up off that seat. Kingslayer could have said, "Don't talk shit to me," but he didn't.
Yeah, but he's not a totally bad dude. So that's what I'm saying. Like he could have. I think that he probably could have beat Ned, but who knows? The thing is like, I think you're right. We do underestimate Ned. He did grow up fighting against Robert, like as a kid, so he probably
that's pretty decent. Saying. Look at the Battle of the Trident and all the fucking badasses that are, dude. Barristan Selmy, man down. Robert Baratheon, man down. Rhaegar Targaryen, man way down. But who came out of there just walking and ready to still do battle? My man Ned Stark went rolling into the throne room, unfazed, untouched, and ready to take out a Kingslayer if need be. Dude, Ned Stark was a pimp with a sword. He gets not enough credit, not nearly enough credit. That's all I'm saying.
That's what Bridge said. That kind of, I don't know, not necessarily like he should have kissed the hand, but I just made that snap judgment, and I get it. Like, here's the thing: if you know anything about Tywin, you would immediately like judge Jamie, right? Just knowing anything about Tywin, you would immediately think like his kid is a fucking freaking piece of shit, and then you come in and see him sitting on the throne. Now, Ned, I mean, that's probably the right judgment on Ned's part, honestly. But he should have been nicer. He should have been like, "Oh, cool, you stabbed the dude in the back. Why'd you stab him in the back, though?"
He was, right? But Ned's mad about the whole thing. Even before he ever talked to Lyanna and knew about Jon Snow, he's still like, "You let your king die. Like, I have no respect for you. You're a Kingsguard. You should be dead if your king's dead." So, I mean, sure, he didn't know about the wildfire situation, but in Ned's mind, Jamie's scum.
Yeah. So, okay. So, do you think Ned pushed Jamie to who he was? Pushed Jamie to be who he is? Like,
Jamie had already killed a king, his king he was supposed to die protecting. So Jamie was already Jamie.
Yeah, but he did the right thing. Like if we look at it,
not compared to his oath.
Well, hold on. If we're talking about Brienne throwing coins in the grave as stupid, because all the people that are starving, so that those coins could have saved people, but she chose to do what her oath was. She gave an oath that she would pay him, right? Which isn't the right thing to do. Jamie did the right thing. He made an oath to protect the people. He tells Catelyn as much. Like, yeah, there's so many freaking oaths, whatever. Like, how you can't keep all your oaths? That's impossible. So he did what was actually right in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, politically he did what was right, but I don't know, morally.
Morally,
I guess it's the other way around. Morally, he did what was right, but politically,
yeah.
he took an oath to protect his king, and you already heard what the other King's Guard said. What would have happened if they were there? Nobody was happy with him about that.
But who cares? Like, and he could have explained, like, he was gonna blow up everybody. Fuck you. Like, he was gonna blow up my dad and stuff. Well, I guess you would let him kill your dad. That's not the thing. But killing all the millions of people.
That he wasn't over. Yeah, he was. I don't know. He was pretty fired up about that. I like how Bridge says, "You're hurting me, Rayla, hurt by Ares. We are sworn to protect her as well." Jamie had finally been driven to say, "We are." Nope, not from him. It was King first, and yeah, Jamie had enough, basically. He was ready to stick a knife in somebody.
Okay, so if you're sworn to protect the queen too, by any means necessary, right? Except for against the king, are you then protecting the queen by pushing Brienne out the window and not letting Ned and everybody find out about what's happening? Like, because then you put her in danger. So by doing this,
but he's not.
he's preemptively protecting the queen.
He's protecting
by
Cersei
pushing Brienne out the window.
Right. But no, because in that sense, he's basically protecting the queen from the king because it's Robert that would have killed her.
Or Ned made.
What's that?
Maybe think. Well, no, it would be. I don't know. I was gonna say like you're cutting off the chain reaction, but it'd still be the king that would be pissed and do it.
Oh man! So back to so we've hammered on him enough. Let's hammer on your Maester Aemon some more and see what's up. See if we can continue on Maester Aemon. When he revealed who he was to Jon, he says, "I cannot tell you to stay or go. Just be ready to deal with your decision for the rest of your days, just as I have." Knowing full well that a young, cocky kid like Jon is going to look at that old-ass crusty man and be like, hell no, I don't want to grow up here and die like you. He knows he's going to bounce out. So, I mean, he knows a man full of pride how he was going to take that. It seems to me like he was talking Jon into leaving the Night's Watch, which would be Jon's death and beheading.
No, I don't think it's like that. That's Maester speak, man. Like, that's Maester speak. Like, a little bit of knowledge, but letting people do what they need to do. Like, you guys consider that Maesters are kind of masters at that, right? Because they're basically telling lords and stuff what to do while not telling, or like giving them advice while not running everything. Does that make sense? Like, you just got to tell them, give good advice, and let them make the decision they want to make.
But it wasn't really good advice. He was like being all emotional and saying, I cannot tell you to stay or go. Just be ready to deal with your decision for the rest of your days, just as I have. I mean, he kind of leaned into it. Like, yeah, I'd be out if I was you.
No, well, because he made his decision, right? So he's saying, like, he understands, and he's had to live with his decision. Like, maybe that pushes Jon towards it, but maybe not. He's also lived 100 years and shit. So, I think he was just kind of reflecting on his own past, like his regrets, and he's saying either way, you're gonna have regrets. Does that make sense? Like, and you're gonna have to deal with it. I mean, if you leave, you're probably gonna have to deal with it for a lot less time, maybe, because if you, yeah, because Rob's gone, you're just like an enemy at that point. So, yep.
Could be. Oh, the chat's still going nuts with the Jaime thing. So you think, so going back on them, Jaime was 16. Basically, it was at the big tournament at Harrenhal, and Mad King basically put him on his knees and knighted him and made him a Kingsguard. And Jaime was like the proudest day of his life. He was the youngest Kingsguard ever knighted or given that honor. But in truth, the Mad King was being a dick about that. And he was trying to screw Tywin out of Tywin's own heir. So, I mean, once Jaime got over the glory and being all happy, it's like he wanted, like, once he was knighted, he wanted to show off and go win, join some of the tournaments and win, like, the joust and the melee. And the Mad King's like, nope, you're a Kingsguard now. Get your ass back to King's Landing. And his other Kingsguard brethren were like, hey, man, I'll go for him. This is his day. Let him join the tournament. And he's like, no, I'm the king. And I said, get your ass back to King's Landing. So Jaime knew pretty instantly that this wasn't an honor. This was just something to dick his dad over. So did Jaime kind of have some early seeds maybe ready to stab a Mad King in the back early on, or did he just let that go?
Well, I'm sure he had the seeds there, but that's like he believed in what it meant to be a knight at that point. So even if if it bothered him, I don't think that he thinks about stabbing them. Maybe he thinks about it, but it's not like anything that he would possibly act on at that point. He's mad. I think he's more hurt than mad, right? That you think you earned this thing when it's really just to dick your dad over. So in a way, like his dad's screwing over his life, just like his dad did to Tyrion, just in a different way. Right, because his dad's prior action screws over Jaime rather than him directly trying to do it like he does to Tyrion. But it's just, that's another sad thing, another a reason to feel bad for Jaime. So you just keep talking about these things, making my argument better. Because think about that. If your whole thing, you're growing, you want to be a knight, and you're finally
you get named a Kingsguard as a young kid. You're not thinking about legacies or being the owner or the next man up in Castle Rock. You're just thinking about freaking, hey, I'm the Kingsguard. I'm the new hot sword on the block.
But, do you think that's why he was so snarky to Jon about joining the Night's Watch? Because he did the same thing as a kid.
Probably it was a big part of it. Absolutely. Only he got to laugh at him. He's like, at least I get to kick it, in a city around, have the life of a city going on. You're going to be frozen and forgotten at the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We got John Dell in the freaking chat. Welcome, buddy, and good job earlier. That's amazing. Wow, that was awesome that you got to jump on with LMR and do your thing and let us know about the music of Game of Thrones. That was really cool, man. Thanks a lot. That was great.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
That was tight. Anybody that didn't get to see that, him and LMR did an awesome stream earlier. Make sure you get over to Living My Rhapsody's channel and check that out because it was a good one. But yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of that when Jaime first saw Jon Snow and was shaking his hand like, you young little dipshit. I was you 10 years ago, and you are not going to be happy with this decision. And that was just kind of like his little smart ass snarky way of kind of displaying that. Yeah,
and I didn't really think about that until just now, that was probably the reason why he was like that. So this whole thing, that's another misunderstanding with Jaime about we think he's just being a dick. But in a way, he's kind of being nice. By letting him know, hey, this might not be the best thing, buddy. Just take my word for it.
Well, he could have said something like that. He didn't just have to be a dumb smartass like that. He's like, oh, is it us already? Have you already taken your vows? It could have been like, hey, you're not there yet. And if you're smart, you'll wake up before you do say those words.
Yeah, but what reason does he,
because he knows where it's heading, because he made that same mistake, and he might be able to help another little dipstick out. Unless you're under the freaking whole thing that all those people came up there because Robert already had an inclination that wasn't really Ned's bastard, that was actually a Targaryen. And so maybe that's kind of his way to freaking.
My brain doesn't work like that, so I'm not of that opinion. But he also he would understand Jon's point of view too, even though like he regrets his decision, or maybe he doesn't, but he understands like the bitterness and stuff. He doesn't want to take that away from Jon. This is something like, so the King's Guard's something for him to look up to, like Jaime, the Lannisters, and all the Southern people. Whereas like the Night's Watch is that same thing to Northerners. Like maybe not to that scale, but it's definitely something that people in the North look up to and think is an honorable thing. And Jaime doesn't want to take that away from Jon, but he's still a smartass. Like that's still his personality. So I don't think you can fault him for it. And I think that was kind of like a warning, like to be more skeptical of things.
Yeah. But he could have done it with a whole lot less snark, that's for sure. I mean, another young, cocky kid. I mean, he's basically looking at a young himself. I mean, Jon's just a young, cocky kid, great with a sword and irritated with what's going on in life. I mean, Jaime was been there. He could actually been a mentor, and instead he started to be a snarky little dickhead saying, yeah, go save us from snarks and grumpkins.
Yeah, but here's the thing, is like later on in the show, we get Jon like thanking Tyrion for like warning him about the wall.
Well, he says you're the only one that told me. You're the only one. Jaime could have been somebody that told him, but he wasn't.
Well, Jaime kind of did tell him. He just told him in a snarky way. It's not his fault that freaking Jon's so brooding all the time. Like he takes everything so serious.
Oh. Speaking of Tyrion, when the Lannisters were discussing battle plans, Tywin informs Tyrion that he and his Hill tribes were going to be in the vanguard. I mean, usually leading the vanguard is an extremely prestigious position, like so much so that the great Jon lost his freaking fingers over it. So why were all the Lannister soldiers and all those colonels and other guys so happy to just give up that honor to Tyrion and the Hills tribe?
Is it? Like, so you can't use your evidence of that it's such an honorable thing by using North as an example, because we see like the difference between Northerners and Southerners. So, whereas like Southerners are more pragmatic. Like, yeah, the Vanguard, sure, like people your honor and stuff, I guess, but
even like on the other side, die. Even on the other side, like Sir Barristan, when he's getting his guys and stuff, I mean, they're talking about who's going to be going in the Vanguard. It's like, it seems like the Vanguard's a pretty prestigious position when it comes to battle.
It is, but it's also stupid.
Well, like, we know it's stupid, but I mean,
someone that's been in the Vanguard of something, it's stupid. So
it's absolutely stupid. But when you're a young, dumb, cocky kid, the Vanguard's like, that's where you want to be. That's like, that's where all the glory is, and that's what you're going for when you're young and dumb like that.
Yeah, I guess, but I think they were just hoping. They all had that plan, right? That was the plan to push them into the water or some shit. That was the plan all along. They didn't even expect Tyrion to survive. So it's all about tactics, I think. Man, it was just that they didn't know the tactics. Like everybody else knew the tactic, but except for the Hill tribes and shit.
So they like just mob towards the middle.
Yeah, they're fine with that.
Everybody wondering what we're drinking right now? We got the Ranza Kappa XO going on. Just this will be probably my next drink video. I already kind of recorded it. Just got to chop it up and edit it. But yeah, I typed in what's the best rum in the world, and this is what popped up: Ranza Kappa XO. So is it good? The best? I don't know. You'll have to tune in next time and find out. But yeah, it's damn tasty. I will tell you that. I'm not sitting here pounding it all night for nothing. It's delicious. But why is the rum gone? Yeah, it's rum. Is it blue? No, it's in a black box.
Is it better than your private stock or whatever?
Dude, you know what? Private stock is falling farther. Nope, everything's black. Captain Morgan private stock, dude, that's been just my lifetime drink, and it is falling farther and farther by the wayside. It is. I still love it, but the way I break it down is like I love it, and it's smooth and it's tasty, but I have to drink it with Coke. And all this stuff, I can just drink straight. Like it doesn't even need Coke. You just drink it. So in that essence, silver rum is the best rum. So far, yeah, I love the Captain Morgan's Private Stock. The Zaya rum's amazing. The Ronza Kappa 23, I've already done a video of it. That's my favorite up to date so far. And yeah, then this is probably the next video. Tune in.
I gotta take my dog out real quick.
Right on. We'll see if we can hold it down.
Talk about Game of Thrones, not your dang old rum.
I know, right? Hey, they asked, we got to go. Oh, we got the chat going off. Bridge Forces, Tyrion was being used as a ploy so that Tywin could swoop around, but the Mountain Clanmen held their own and ruined Tywin's battle plans. I'm glad you put an LOL on that because, yeah, those dudes were mobs. Seems like every one of the heads of the Hill tribe were sitting there just mobbing. Like none of them got phased. Not one of them died. So obviously they are true warriors and great battlers. Mother Krakens, and you really feel that transition in the books more. I feel he has to accept those insecurities as he grows. And he grows. I think as he grows. Yep. Stannis led from the back. Yep. What's up, John? Is Stannis really dead? Did Brienne really off him? Is that an off-screen death, or is that just going to be a trickster later? Because Stannis has got some stuff going on in the books. And Stannis is absolutely the one who wrote the pink letter. If you guys have been keeping up on all those extra chapters that have come out, those are definitely free. It pretty much lays out that Stannis was the one that wrote the pink letter. It's the first spot. Oh man, we got to talk about that trailer. What's up? Is you guys see the trailer? Was that we'll talk more about it when Andy gets here, but who all in the chat thinks that Longclaw is snapped in half? Was it just half buried in the snow, or was that sword broken? Did the Night's King break Valyrian steel? What is that? We'll let Andy come here and tell you what he thinks about all that, but yeah, what do you guys think? Is Longclaw broken and no more? Is it snapped? Is it going to have to be wielded with another Valyrian steel? And are they going to bring back ice? I saw a video about that somewhere. Yes, his death in the show was a real snub to Grimm. I'm excited at his role in the books. Absolutely. Yeah, the books is a whole new thing coming. That's going to be great. I didn't think so. It looked broken, but maybe. I don't think it was broken. I think it was just stuck in the snow. But it could be broke. 50-50. What's everybody else think?
I'm back. So I think that at first I'm like you. I thought it was broken the very first time I watched it. The second time I was like, it's probably just stuck in the snow. And then the third time I was like, well, none of that really matters because this is all just made up shit for a damn commercial. I wanted to see real stuff from the show.
And there it is. Tell him, Andy.
I was really hoping for like stuff, and we talked about this a little bit beforehand. So thanks, DJ, for setting me up. But I think really just the cinematography and stuff. It's not like it was something from an episode. It's just stuff made for a commercial. Should drive me nuts. Don't be teasing me. Don't tease me. Well, damn it! It was a teaser trailer. Fucking congratulations, Andrew. You played yourself.
It was absolutely a teaser trailer. But what's up, chat? Do you think that any of that footage is actually going to be shown in the show, or is Andy right? Was that just 100% shot as a teaser trailer, and we're not even going to see that this season in the series? What do you think about that?
Like, it was a bunch of cool stuff. You know, you guys see Jaime's hand and some, I don't know, I guess a raven feather floating. Just none of that really made sense like that. You know, you got the freaking Forrest Gump intro and shit. Fucking feather flying.
It seems like most of the people are agreeing with you. They just think that's like a teaser and that's not going to actually be in there. So I don't know. I mean, you don't think that's going to be like episode 4 after that big, huge battle in episode 3 and everybody's now hiding in the crypts and they lost all that stuff and basically just had to drop it and run to get out of there?
No, I don't think that. If you're dropping Longclaw, even if Longclaw is half a sword, freaking half a sword of Valyrian steel.
Yeah, exactly. You could still stab whites and drop them, but yeah, if you got a tiny little nub and they're all surrounding you and you're about to get got, you may just have to drop it and bounce. I don't know.
What else was interesting in that? Did you see anything that made you think, besides like, if you went into it thinking that it was actually part of an episode, then you're like, damn, all the people we like are fucked. But was there anything you thought was generally interesting to where you're like, oh, that points to this? I mean, if you listened, you could hear some wolves and shit, so I was pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, I didn't even hear. I don't even remember the wolves. I didn't even hear that. That's pretty tight. The best part I liked was like at the very end of it, like the little, you don't know who it is, but you kind of assume it's like the shadow of the Night's King walking away. That was kind of, that was.
I didn't even
cool.
catch that.
Oh yeah, you got to be watching it in HD because it's all like misty and like muddled and stuff, and kind of like my thumbnail for my picture. It's kind of like blurred and blued out a little bit. But if you like stare at it in HD or you watch it in HD, you can actually see it's the figure of a person. And you would think, I mean, maybe it's a dead, whited Jon Snow or a resurrected Jon Snow. Maybe it's the Night's King. Maybe he came for Jon Snow and that's Jon Snow walking away, becoming him. I mean, who knows? Do you think there's any way that the Night's King is coming for Gilly's baby and that's why he's there?
Well, I already told you that I watched one of Bridges' videos today, and he talked about how the... Never mind. He talked about the weirwood burning, and I was like, dang it. Now I can't get that out of my head. I think he's trying to conquer his way down until mankind has to, like, make a pact. Another pact with him. Like, he's like, I'm just going to decimate all of you guys until you guys make a deal. Let's make a deal. I mean, once mankind's down to like 100 people, they're going to be like, oh, shit. Let's make a deal, buddy.
I mean, it's kind of, I mean, obviously it's not the same as the books with the baby swap and all that. But getting that baby away, even still, like the thing that I just cannot get over, and I still haven't found an explanation, like in the Feast of Crows, when Sam and Gilly and when Maester Aemon dies on the Cinnamon Wind, and basically they're talking about the babe that the switch, the baby that they took, and they're talking about the baby that he had, and Sam's looking at him, and he's freaking, and he says, I still don't get it. He says that it's Mance Rayder's son and Craster's grandson. Now, how does that work out?
Yeah, I don't know.
Something ties in. I mean, somewhere. How is it Mance Rayder's son? Because we know it's Mance Rayder's and Dalla's son. So how is it Mance Rayder and Dalla's son, but also Craster's grandson? Unless Craster is obviously Mance Rayder or Dalla's father.
Yeah, maybe. Wildling's
father, or maybe what?
Why can't it be Dalla's father?
Because we know he marries all his daughters.
Well, no. Wildlings steal wives.
Yeah, that's true.
So why would you help out the Night's Watch? Unless Mance Rayder stole one of your daughters. How about that?
I like that. I like that. That ties in nicely. And how does Craster, or maybe he just gave one up, like Mance Rayder's like, listen, old man, I'll kill you right now. I was like, I'm taking her. And Craster's like, yeah, I don't want to die, and I got enough. Go ahead. I mean, something had to be weird with that for that to go on. So I guess maybe Dalla could be, but I don't know, man. That's weird. How does Craster know exactly what's going on with Mance Rayder? He knew exactly where to tell the Night's Watch where to find him and what Mance was doing. How would he be so well informed unless he, was talking to Mance Rayder?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously he must have been talking. He must have been there with him.
Yeah. No. So someone. Sorry, my eyes are all bad. Someone said you're talking about two different babies. No,
Everyone's talking about two different babies. In the show, Gilly's baby is just Gilly's baby. So it's, I guess, would still be the same situation. They don't obviously make this reference in the show, but in the books, we know there's the baby swap with Gilly's baby and Mance Rayder's baby, because Mance Rayder's baby would have king's blood, and Jon doesn't want Melisandre to burn her. So basically, he sends her off, and that's why Gilly's so messed up. But yeah, when Sam's sitting there looking at her, Sam's like, it's freaking Mance Rayder's son and Craster's grand. Just a weird sentence out of nowhere. I'm just like, what? It's like, how are you just going to slip that in out of nowhere? Like, wait a minute. How does that tie together? I was tripping. And I still haven't heard a good reason on why that happened.
Let's see, we got, I was with you, I think, where when I first read it, I was like, that doesn't make sense. If you just found out that it wasn't her baby, then why would you think that it's Craster's?
Well, by then he had knew, because Maester Aemon had already told him about the swap. That's why she was crying.
That's why I said it doesn't make sense if you just found out about it. Like, why would you think that? I mean, it's explicitly said to you. There's no reason that someone as smart as Sam would make like that kind of mental mistake. It's weird.
Absolutely. See, going back up in the chat, we got, I think he still wants to be headed. Cooking food for Bosco, Game of Theories with Marie, always taking care of the little furry ones. It's awesome. Bridge 4, the timeline is where Mel being the cause since White Walkers began killing a while ago, but it's pretty poetic. Faith of the Children is trying not to be a hero, then actually the catalyst of the problem. Bridge 4 trying to take it deep. Maria, I have a great vision and I don't see it, so don't beat yourself up. I think about the visions. What's that?
I want to plug something from Bridgeport. I think he had one I want about the magic stone. I'm not gonna go over the whole thing. You can go to his video, but it was an interesting thought, like that the magic wall was just like these stone, like the stone at the bottom that stopped like the magic and from flowing south and north. So like the winter magic, like all the ice stayed up north, and it originally wasn't like a 800-foot wall. It was like because the ice magic couldn't get past the rock, it like built up and made the wall itself.
Interesting.
That's my terrible cliff notes of it. Go watch his video. It's pretty interesting.
Oh wow! I was trying to see what they were talking about Lot 7. Now I get it, because that's supposedly where Melisandre was from originally. She was a slave bought from Lot 7, and they're breaking down the fact how Hardhome has a history of slavery. I love that tie-in, John. That's amazing. Explains her being stronger at the wall. I love that. Mel is an original wildling. I like that. I've never heard that, John. I love that. Oh, what's up, DJ Kira? Thanks for coming in. Good to see you, bro.
She would have a healthy untrust of like White Walkers too.
Oh yeah, I know all about it. Definitely. Oh, he says that's a gray area theory. Nice. The boy was Mance Rayder's son and Craster's grandson after all. Yeah, exactly, Bridgeport. Look at my man just breaking it down instantly. You know what I'm talking about. So how is that not a trip?
Shit notes. That's right. Fucking shit notes. That's me.
Different lump. I like that. Cool theory. I want to tell D&D no more. Show us no more. Agreed. Credit gray area. Nice. Say 10 orders the ice foundation, just a stone, like I say, only black stone, that'd be sick. Oh, the chat's just lit. I love it. But yeah, man, that does. I really like that. The Lot 7 and, being known as a slave area or slaver area, kind of the slaver ships would come in there every once in a while. So what a trip that would be if that was a sick tie-in. I do like that. But I don't think so. I think she's from the more closer to the Shy area, the other side of the world. I think she has more to do with fire than ice. I don't think she's a wildling at all. And, yeah, I think she's just stronger at the wall because the wall is made of magic.
Is the sea stone... is the Greyjoy's throne thing? Is that made of the oil black? That's made of oil black stone, right?
Yep, and so is the foundation of the Citadel.
Okay, because in one of the chapters, I'm pretty sure they say that the sea stone chair is made out of like some monster that could kill sea dragons. It's made out of its jaw, right? Or am I just crazy?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're tying. I think you're tying the Jaws of Naga, which is where they had the King's Moot. I think you're kind of tying that in.
Oh yeah. That's probably it.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that doesn't make any sense.
I got Rich Four thinking about it. Can't make sense of it. Is Dala Craster's daughter? See, that's what I'm saying. I've been thinking about that for a while. I've got that's like, look at that.
I think we said that like all.
Well, I did because look at that. In this whole book, the only thing I have marked off is this one little page, and it's that reason is why. I'm just like, that's always bugged me. And then all that thing, the one thing I've marked off is that. And I just reread that today, like, oh yeah, it's like, what? That never made sense to me. It's still never been explained. It's like, why? How the hell is Craster the granddad of that baby?
Because you skipped this book in a reread, right? You don't.
No, I did. I started from Storm, and then I just in my third reread, I did Storm, Feast, and Dance. I just didn't do Clash or Game of Thrones. I'll do that after. We'll probably just do rereads and just do the big chapter thing, and start going off on crazy tangents after the season's over, and start going crazy deep with the books. We'll do that, in about 8 weeks.
So, are we gonna? What character next week are we gonna do? Like the book character, obscure book character, not necessarily obscure, but
I don't know. We're kind of doing it every other week. We could do it every week, kind of go back and forth between the show and an obscure book character. I don't know. We could do it. We could let the chat pick.
Yeah, if we want to do like a couple topics each week.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. We could do. I don't know if I know enough about Jenny at Old Stones, but I'd go deep into like the Ghost of High Heart. That's pretty dope. I like that.
Yeah, Ghost of High Heart's a pretty good one. Like I wanted to talk about Dark Star.
Absolutely, definitely go deep on Dark Star. He's one of my favorite characters. I love that guy. In the books, he's dope.
Yeah, he's kind of.
Oh, he's an evil bastard, dude. He's not nice.
Yeah, he's fucked up.
I mean, he's the one that chopped off Marcella's ear, dude. He's a dick.
Yeah, for sure.
He's not a nice guy. He is
like he's a total badass, but how do you fail at killing a little girl like a horse thwarts you? Like it just rears up right at the right time. Oh, that's just a funny turn of events there. You're supposed to be this badass, bro.
Speaking of badasses, when Ned was confessing before his death, why did he embellish the story so much? Like he said, before Robert's blood was cold, he plotted against the throne and tried to kill Joffrey. I mean, it definitely made them a lot easier to be beheaded and called for treason after all that. Like Varys just said to tell his son to lay down his sword and pronounce Joffrey king. He didn't try to say he killed him and all that shit. Like, why did he embellish it that bad?
I don't know.
I mean, that just didn't seem smart at all.
Well, he, as Peter Baelish says, like, Starks aren't really, what are they, quick to, what does it say? Quick to anger, slow wit, or something like that?
Yeah, Starks. Yeah, slow minds.
Yeah.
Quick anger, slow minds. John says Melisandre theory also claims Melisandre is also the ghost of High Heart, same person, show, unglamored. Mel even looks like her. Yeah, unglamored. She's as old as her and looks like her, but I do in no way, shape, or form think that they are the same person.
It's because you see, this is your bias, DJ. It's because you don't like Melisandre, but you like the ghost of High Heart, so you can't see him as the same person. Come on. Let's think about it further.
No, there's just no way that they're the same people. That's just not happening. They're not even in the same vicinity when the shit's going down.
I mean, yeah. No.
Unless you've got like some Tyrion fetus like transport space thing going on. I don't know.
Yeah, but what does George R. R. Martin like do? He says that if he wants someone to be somewhere, he just makes them there.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. When Ned got beheaded, Arya stared up at the sky and a flock of birds were flying by and later says, "You didn't see it. I made sure of it." Do you think Arya ward those birds and did see her father's death?
No. No.
You're not buying that one?
I was gonna
Nobody
say
ever
yes.
thought of that, did they?
I was gonna say yes, and then I was like, no, she couldn't, because Bloodraven was already warging them beasts. So Couldn't
but
even
we
do
already
it.
know that 2 wargs can contain the same animal at the same time.
Yeah, but you also have Bran and Rickon in there. So just too much going on. Too much going on in that area.
Yeah, there's just no way.
I didn't even think about it. See, this is what I was talking about earlier. These things I don't even think about. You're like, oh, she could have been warging those because she did see, even though what's in Yorn's like, no, you didn't see. And she's like, I did.
Bubba said in honor of Dark Star, he's planning a trip to eat sandwiches in Hermitage National. Nice. Bubba always going to be bringing it back. So you don't think there's any way that happened, huh? What about?
I don't think it happened because, yeah, I don't think it happened.
There's something I was watching when I was watching the episode the other day. Is something I never caught before. It was when Osha took Bran down into the crypts and Rickon was already there, and Osha yelled, "That beast is supposed to be chained and in the kennel." And Rickon looked back and said, "He doesn't like chains." And then it just happens to be chains that are on the Umber sigil, and it was Small John Umber that killed Shaggy Dog. I was like, what? What kind of tie-in is that? That tripped me out.
That's a good one.
I'm telling you, because we all know Rickon was a Green Seer, right?
Yep.
So I was like, I looked at that. I was like, dude, that's a sick little tie-in. And, you know, they had those little Easter eggs back then because the first season is when George was the most, involved in the show. So the first season is like, that's why the first season is like almost identical to the first book because George was absolutely involved. And I think those tie-ins could be real. He's like, oh, okay, you're going to put this as their sigil. Let's say this. And I mean, that was pretty clean.
Yeah, that's a good one. And that lets you know that like they were probably in the beginning planning on making most of the Starks wargs. Like they were going to stick more to the book. I think if you go based on that, because how do you know that he doesn't like chains? I mean, I guess you could chew on them or something, but it's more. I think it's more of like a hint, like that he can read the thing's mind.
Right. That's pretty sick. Speaking of reading minds, Miri Mazdur tells Danny, "You know the price. Only death may pay for life." But she had already made it sound like Khal Drogo's horse was going to be the price for life. So why act like then that it was Danny's baby that had to be the price for it? Why did they make that switch in the show? Because at first she's like, only death may pay for life. And like Danny's like, me? And she's like, no, not you, Khaleesi. He's like, bring me his horse. And she brought the horse in and slit his throat. So she made it sound like that was that. So why later on did she say that you knew the price and act like it was her baby that was the price for Drogo?
Because I think she did know that. Like I'm with that like she did know the price. Like a horse life's not equal to a human life. Everybody should know that. Like you got to give up a human life to get another human life. And I feel like
the Imagination Realm says in the show she briefly looks at her stomach. I didn't notice that. That's pretty clean. I like that. But why? I mean, if it's going to be like that, why act like why even bring the Khal's horse in? Why even act like that is going to be it? That doesn't make sense.
Maybe that's part of the spell. You need the blood.
You
need that blood magic. So the blood comes from the horse, but the life has to come from somebody else. I don't know. I feel like that's something. If magic was real, I would think like, hey, you're gonna trade his soul for a horse soul? That's not equal.
Remember when what's that?
I don't know. I always just thought like she knew. Like that's like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like, hey, we're gonna try the horse, but you know what you're gonna have to do.
I'm with Bubba Husky. Horse lives matter. You gotta love a fucking Bubba Husky. That's so sick. Jor Mormont, when they were getting ready to roll out, Jor looks at Johnny and says, "I'll not sit meekly by and just wait for the snows." Was that like his little way of saying, "I'll not just sit here and wait for the bastards to come get me"?
Yeah,
that was kind of a nice little tongue twist around. I'll not wait for the snows. It's like, I'm not going to wait for those bastards to come get me. We're going to go out and get them first. I like that.
That's a little clever. Play on pun.
Right?
Play on words. Yeah. Damn, you got all these deep pulls here.
Dude, this is what we do. Thought you knew. This is DJ 11's channel. Rich Forrest says, you warned me that only death could pay for life. I thought you meant the horse. No, Miriam Mazdur said that was a lie you told yourself. You knew the price. Had she? Had she? I don't know about that. Did Miriam Mazdur said the words you knew that was a lie you told yourself? I don't remember saying that. She said that? Rich Forrest's pretty good about the word for words, but I don't remember saying that.
I pretty much paraphrase everything in my head, and I thought that she said that. So,
yeah, I mean, she probably did if you're saying it. I'm just saying I don't remember that. See, John says, how about the mountain beheading the horse in one shot? Anger issues? My man's a beast. That's what's up. Do not mess with the mountain. Oh, dude, when he's walking through in the end and that dude was talking shit about Cersei and he catches him outside pissing and he turns around and pisses on the mountain's foot, he just grabs him by the face and plants his head into the wall like, yeah, you're done. That was oh, I love that. Yeah, that solidified him as one of my favorite characters right there. That was great.
Really? That didn't give you like flashbacks of like, man, if he can do that to a person's head, or like a grown-up's head, that soft little baby's head that he smashed up against the wall.
Like I said, if you're gonna be a villain, be a villain. Oh, George says he's gonna ride against the wildlings, the White Walkers, and whatever else is out there. What else is out there that he was talking about? I mean, the White Walkers and the wildlings seems like enough of a problem. What the hell else is out there he was talking about?
Snarks and Grumpkins and
basically
ice
just
spiders, shadow cats, giants. I mean, I guess giants are wildlings, sort of. Shit, there's a bunch of stuff with the polar bears. All kinds of shit up there.
He said polar bears. Said DJ Cure had a good question. Trying to go back up. Let's see it. Chat is lit. You guys are doing awesome. Thanks for being here. This is what it's all about. Getting close. About what is it, like 2 weeks away? 2.5 weeks? Getting some.
Says the double had she. Wait.
I don't even see it. Is it way up there?
Why did Mary Mazdor mention the horse in the first place?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. But yeah, it didn't even make sense. Why even bring that up? That's what I was talking about.
It's a lie. You got. I'm telling you, it's the blood magic. You need that blood.
Just needed, like, not just royalty, but the royalty's horse. Yeah, I don't know. That
well, shit, maybe that's their culture. You need a stallion if you're gonna.
Speaking of stallion, Dany was rock solid positive she was going to come out of that fire unscathed. How was she so sure that she was going to live through that? Jorah's like, I can't let you do this. And she's like, is that what you're afraid of? And gives him a little kiss. Miriam Mazdur says, you will not hear me scream. Dany just looked at her just cold. And she's like, oh, he's like, it's not your screams that I want. He's like, but I'll take it. But, I mean, how did she know? Was Dany so positive that all this was going to work? Or was she just a desperate mother on a whim?
No, I think the Lord of Light showed her that she would survive.
The Lord of Light gave her a vision now?
Yeah, that's what happened. Like she had a vision. She knew she was going to survive. We'll just say it was the Lord of Light because it's fire magic. Or it's
right.
Fire.
John says she has a dream, and she had a few dreams that were leading her to this, basically. But even the dream was like kind of little subtle hints to different things. And remember who you are. It never said walk into a fire and you'll live. I mean, that took some cojones.
Yeah, true. But she was in love with those eggs. Remember, she would be getting pounded, and she would just be staring at those eggs. I don't know why I remember that so specifically from the book. But while Drogo was having his way with her, she would be staring at the eggs and thinking about them.
Right.
I don't know why I remember that. I mean.
Oh, from the book?
Yeah. she would think about how to hatch them and shit.
An imagination realm brings up, she knew because like in the show when she grabbed the eggs and it didn't burn her, she kind of knew. But well, there's a big difference in not burning your hands and walking into a freaking open pyre. Like that's legit.
I'm telling you, she got that vision.
But yeah, if I look back, I am lost. The concept of belief with a capital B, like she mentioned, and yeah, absolutely. She believed it and she went for it. I'll give you that. And I mean, basically, she's just a mother that lost her baby. So yeah, she was just no remorse. I don't care about anything right now. So she definitely had that fuck it gene in her at that point in time. But yeah, one of the dreams made it clear for her. I think all the culmination of all the dreams just dialed it in, and she was able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. But like I said, that's still pretty damn ballsy, man.
Well, so maybe that's why Drogo, maybe that's why he was so fucked up. Like when he got brought back to life, he didn't get brought back like all the other people we get brought back and shit, right? Like John and whoever, and Barrack and stuff. They come back as real people. So here's the thought for you. What if the horse's soul went into Drogo, and then Drogo's soul went into Drogon, and that's like how all that happened. So that's why he was so fucked up, is because he actually did get that horse soul, and then his soul went to the dragon.
That'd be pretty sick. That's why he couldn't talk and he just looked off dumb, because it was just a horse looking off dumb.
Yeah. The horse didn't know what to do in a person body.
I like that.
Or that value of a soul, right? Because John comes back after burning what's her name, and then I don't know. The only problem with that is like, how does Beric Dondarrion come back after the mountain fight? Because nobody died there. All the other ones, you can say a bunch of people are dying.
Well, it's just like it was easier to keep slipping into another animal. The more and more you've done it, it gets easier to do. We've already brought him back 6 times, so bringing him back the 7th, like maybe there's a bird that died outside, and you could just use that because it's just easier for him to do at this point. They stepped on a slug when they had a battle, and they used that for it. I mean, if a horse works, why not anything?
Yeah, but he had he was a person. He was less and less like himself, but he was still like a person.
He left the flies on him because he was trying to shoo them with his tail. What? Do you know what kept me standing through all those years of exile? Faith. Not in any gods, not in myths and legends, in myself and Daenerys Targaryen. So sick. Targs all day. Just like Arya, like Dany's heartfelt stories of her journey, hopelessness, and faith in self.
So are the Targaryens your favorite house?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
So as soon as like Fire and Blood came out, you were like, all right, Fire and Blood, I'm getting that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I couldn't buy it right away because Christmas was coming and I knew people were going to get it as a gift, so I couldn't. I actually had to wait, which sucked. But yeah, as soon as I could, I got it.
I don't even know who my favorite house is. I'm kind of wishy-washy as normal.
What's up, chat? Sound off. Who's your favorite houses out there? Who you repping in the Game of Thrones? Who you a bannerman for? Who you repping? Let us know.
If you can, make a point to it, because I am sitting on a fence. I'm sitting on where about 20 fences come and connect to each other. So pull me to your direction.
House Westerling. That's what I'm talking about, John. House Westerling. Those bastards had the biggest plot of all in the books. It hasn't even come to fruition yet, but they are some plotting bastards.
Yeah, definitely. Like, oh man, the Westerlings are kind of crazy. Maybe we should do one about that too, because there's some shady shit with that. One, Rob could never trust like half the family.
Yeah.
they were accepted right back. There's no fucking way. No way.
What's up? Where's my Cheeky Lions at? House Lion. Where's my Cheeky Lions at?
See, I like the Starks.
Oh, be easy, JD. Thanks for stopping in, brother. We'll definitely talk to you soon, my man. Yeah, and everybody who's watching this later, make sure you drop in down in the comments. What house you repping? Who's your favorite house? What was that, Andy?
Obviously everybody likes the Starks, so that's like you can't even say that one. Trying to think of like a lesser house that I really like.
Sick House Belwas.
Yeah, or like the red wines or some shit, but not. And I mean I like the Martells just because they're kind of wild. I like to think of myself as this free spirit like that, all crazy.
Dude, House Giants all day. Ours is a song of life.
House Giant Spain, like I'm about that.
Did Lord Commander Mormont know he was going to lose? Did he know he was getting ready to go on this big ranging and was an old man, so probably was going to die out there? Is that the real reason he gave Longclaw to Jon?
I don't think that's a real reason, but he had to expect that, right?
Right? Yeah, he did.
They're just going to go out talking, like they're going to go find all the wildlings with their little Night's Watch group. Get the hell out of here, and you don't think you're going to die. Like, he had to have known.
And he definitely knew Jon was the best swordsman at the wall, so why not give the greatest swords to your best swordsman, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense to me, but I just thought, I was like, wow, I wonder how much that had to do with it. I mean, he knew what he was going to do. He's an old man. He probably had to know he was going to die out there. Not in the way that he did, but I don't know. Speaking of dying, you think Jaime pissed himself when Grey Wind just walked up and was snarling in his face? When Robb went and saw him in that cage and he was all locked up and he was talking shit and they were going back and forth, and then all of a sudden Grey Wind comes in and just puts his muzzle right in Jaime's face and just starts growling. Like, the Kingslayer had to piss himself right then and there, right?
Yeah, because that's a different kind of death, right? Yeah. Like that's not getting stabbed and dying and bleeding out.
No, that's Ramsay Bolton style.
Yeah, that's a different kind of death. You don't want that. Especially, like, if you're Jaime, you got to think that even, because, yeah, that's his moneymaker, right? His face. What if, not really his moneymaker, because he loses that later, but, man, you wouldn't even want to survive that, really. What if he just had the freaking thing bite at your face? Then they're all mutilated. And then you're more mutilated than your little brother.
Oh, it'd be
awful. Oof.
Oh. Do you think Tubbo Moat has any connection to the Night's Watch? Like, he gave up Gendry like a little bitch to the Gold Cloaks. Or do you think he has any connection to the House of Black and White? He obviously does. His door's made of black and white. He's got the symbol for them. So he's got some kind of connection with them. But, dude, when the Gold Cloaks came up, he gave up Gendry like a little bitch. He was getting his face put to coals, but, dude, he gave them, they were on the King's Road. They're going to the Night's Watch. He gave up everything. Dude, I was like, you didn't have to give him all that information. You could have just said, you know what I mean? He gave him the direction, the time.
That's true. But, they're getting their face burnt. That scared. Think what that did to the Hound. One of the most badass people in the whole story.
Well, he actually got his face burned and went through it. This guy just got threatened with it and was like, maybe that's it. Maybe he sold the Hound enough stuff and looked at his face enough times shit, I don't want that to happen to me.
Plus, it's forge fire. It's not even just a house fire.
Yeah, that's extra hot. I was just I get, okay, you can tell him some stuff, but you were giving up more than you were asked. You gave directions, times, roads, dates. I was like, damn, dude, they didn't ask all that. Like, you just giving up the ghost on somebody. That is not someone you do a caper with. I wonder why. What is it about Tobo Moat that they brought Gendry to him in the first place? I wonder. Is it just because he was a great, armorer and they wanted Gendry to have a good job, or was there a special reason that connection got made?
Them hammers, naturally.
I mean,
I don't know.
Do you believe at all that Gendry is Cersei and Robert's kid?
No, I do not believe that.
You don't believe that? You believe it's Robert's kid, though?
Yeah.
But you don't believe it's Cersei's?
No, because how do you reconcile, like, Maggie the Frog thing?
Well, magic's bullshit. That's how I reconcile it. Like, Melisandre's wrong all the time. Why wouldn't Maggie the Frog be wrong?
Because it hasn't been wrong
We
yet.
see how powerful Melisandre is, and she still gets shit fucked up all the time. So that's how I would reconcile that.
I don't know.
Victor.
I'm going to go with her, though. I'm going to go with Maggie the Frog and say, nope, not true.
No way.
Because she loves her kids, too, though.
She does love her kids. It's like, did she even know? Like, did she just get told? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, trying to tie it in with that story that she told Catelyn Stark when Bran was laying there all messed up. So obviously something was going on. I mean, you think she just came in and just absolutely made up that story about having a kid that died? I mean, where did that even come from?
I don't think it's made up. I think it happened.
John says Maggie the Fly. Oh, that's awesome. But what was that?
I don't think it's made up. I think it's a true story, but the baby died.
I don't know if it died. I think it was Gendry and it got given away. I think, I don't know. I think that was, and maybe even not given away because Cersei's the one that doesn't want any kids with Robert. She wants all her and Jaime's kids to basically take over. So, I mean, maybe it actually is her. Maybe it's Jaime that did some more scrupulous shit that we don't even know about. Maybe it was Jaime that got rid of that kid. But I don't know. I don't know.
No, Jaime's a good dude. We're not going to put that on
out windows, but he's good. He just breaks up marriages and takes good things from his buddies. Dude, Bronn did nothing but help him out. Bronn's finally got a great situation, a great wife, and getting ready to get himself a great castle. And Jaime just snatches it all away. And it's like, yeah, we'll get you something else later. Come with me and maybe die. Come on. Great guy.
Well, to be fair, like, in the book, Cersei's trying to kill Bronn. You remember that?
Yeah.
At this time, in the book I'm on right now, I think she's trying to kill him.
Well, yeah, she tries to get Lolly's dad to basically do something shady, and that dipshit like challenges him straight up, like honorable, and just Bronn makes short work of him. So that was that.
And then Bronn's like moving up the ranks in the ladder. Yeah, and what's her name's house? Because he's like people are mysteriously dying and shit. Oh shit! No. Oh, sorry.
Lamar brings up again. He did get the last laugh when he named their baby Tyrion.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even his baby. Like, she had been raped 100 times or whatever. No telling whose dad that is, and named him Tyrion. That was great. Which is basically going to be the next lord of Stokeworth Castle, which is awesome.
That's awesome. Bridge, the Martell house is pretty great. Like, I agree. But I don't want anybody sleeping with my wife. Like, I'd be pretty pissed about that. I'm not that liberal in my views.
Oh, you mean like the Red Viper was always doing?
Yeah, like, I'm not that promiscuous, you know what I mean?
Lord Tyrion Stokeworth, not bad. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Bronn was playing the long game against Cersei.
Not giving a fuck.
Not giving two fucks. The night before Stannis takes or like literally right when Stannis took Melisandre on that table, he kicks Davos and his son out, and before they leave, Melisandre like whispers into Matho's ear basically that fire is the purest form of death. I mean, that was some pretty sick foreshadowing. How Is she the only one that's like got true power in this whole story? Like we've seen time and time again that she's legit. She can do some things. Is she the only one in this story like that?
No, you got.
I mean, other than Bloodraven, maybe.
Well, no, because what's his name? Thoros brings back Beric Dondarrion over and over, so that's fucking real magic.
That's pretty sick as well. Absolutely.
But Melisandre admits that like a lot of the shit she does is just tricks.
Right.
So we
the
don't
Shadow
know.
Baby wasn't a trick. That was some legit shit. Like
yeah, but we know Shadowbinders exist.
Yeah, from a shy.
So
is she just a Shadowbinder from a shy that was a slave that was sold off, or is that just another gift that she's blessed with?
Yeah, I think it's something she learned, or maybe she's blessed with that gift, and she just follows the Lord of Light. Like it seems that people that believe in the Lord of Light get visions of fire. So maybe she just had that, and she was out in a shy. She learned some shadow binding and shit. And she mixes like she's kind of like a little magician, like someone a street performer where they use stuff actual abilities, but they're making it seem grander. That's why she's wrong a lot of the time.
Well, yeah, like John's saying, like she's not really following the true religion of Valor. She's more Melisandreism. But I disagree. I think she's doing her best to follow the religion. She's just not very good at it. She's good at protecting herself. She's always been a master at seeing her own death. She's great at protecting herself and doing her own little spells. But as far as seeing stuff for Stannis and anybody else, she's been wrong every time.
Yeah, so I mean, like, so like, I don't know exactly how to say it, but there's some common magic that like certain people can do. Like, maybe they just confuse like some level of green sight into making this fantasy god, the R'hllor. Maybe there's something.
So you think these are just people that are green seers that just happen to buy into this other bullshit and call it R'hllor?
Yeah, and like it's almost like a meditative state looking into the fire, and that's why they can see it. But the only problem with that is that she shows Stannis something.
She like showed Stannis something. Beric Dondarrion was able to show the Hound something. The Hound don't believe in none of it, and he was still able to see it. So, yeah, and then in the books you got Makoro and a bunch of other people, and then even in the show you got like Kinvara coming up saying, "Would you like me to tell you what the flame said?" So it seems pretty legit worldwide in this Planetos.
Yeah, that's true.
It seems legit.
Maybe it's just a different type of green sight. Like, maybe it's just unencrypted. Like the Weirwood net's encrypted. It's got that HTTPS, and the fires just don't have that S on the end, so they're not safe browsing. So everybody can see what you're doing. Weirwood net's got that VPN.
Bridge 4 trying to break out Nettles. Didn't Nettles have some Targaryen blood, though? Wasn't Nettles a dragon seed? I mean, I know isn't that like the big thing that people talk about? Because they talk about, oh, you have to be a dragon's blood. And people are like, oh, but what about Nettles? But then if you look back far enough in Nettles' life or family tree, doesn't she have some bastard blood in her or something? I don't know. That goes like deep into 3 different books, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty deep.
But yeah, and then Nettles, like, what was I don't even remember. Was that like this one or the other one where they're talking about where they're going up to the Eyrie and those guys couldn't get past the gate, but then they saw like there's all these bones basically, and there's like a little cavern in the side of the hill, and there's a big storm. So these guys were going to go up the hill, and they're going to go up the hill basically and try to take cover in the cavern, and basically it was Nettles and her dragon sheep stealer in there. Yeah. And they tried to go up there, and basically he just roasted all and then bounced. And that was the last we ever saw at Nettles. So that was pretty sick. Yeah, I love how they tie all that shit in. You just got to go like 3 different books back to figure it all out. It's like those bastards. Nothing easy. Nothing easy with these people. Valyrian blood, though. Dragon seeds all day. Absolutely. Do you think Blackfire is going to make any appearance at all? I mean, you got 6 episodes left for Blackfire to make an appearance. Does that happen? Is that down in the crypts, maybe?
I would like it to happen, but...
That's something else I don't know about. Was Rhaegar using Blackfire against Robert? I don't remember ever hearing anything about that. Wouldn't that be something? And that's the thing. Wow, there's one I never heard. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe Rhaegar had Blackfire and killed or basically died with Blackfire. Ned took Rhaegar's bones, or maybe he didn't take his bones, but took Blackfire, and that's actually what's in the crypts. And then he took it because, well, yeah, he had it basically, and then he found out that Rhaegar and Lyanna actually had a child. So basically, he put that in the crypts to let Jon know that he's the true next heir or some shit like that. That'd be pretty clean. I like that.
How long is Blackfire? Is it a bastard sword?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. It's not a great. It's not a great sword. I know that. I don't think it's a bastard sword either. I think it's just a regular sword. But I'm not 100%. So, Living My Rhapsody says, I thought the Valyrian blood was more common and not limited just to Targs, but other had it around the world. I mean, there's been Targaryens all around the world ever since the fall of Valyria. I mean, they spread in all different directions, so there's obviously definitely dragon seed all over the place. Like over in Lys, Lys is kind of like where all the pillow houses are, basically all the whorehouses of the eastern side. That's like where all the most beautiful women or whatever are basically brought up and taught there, because they have like the silver Targaryen hair and the purple eyes. So, they brought up there, and then those are the courtesans to like princes and kings and shit. So, yeah, there's definitely people with Targaryen blood all over the world.
See, Bridge knew where I was going with that, whether Longclaw was actually Blackfire. Like they started lying. Like they made up a thing about Longclaw, but
no, because Jorah Mormont was a freaking honorable man, and George said when he freaking gave it to Jon that this sword has been in my family for thousands of years. So if it's been in the Mormont family for thousands of years, there's no way it could be Blackfire. I've got to figure out how to loosen up that freaking thing. I hate how it blocks anybody in the chat. That sucks.
Well, but I mean, that doesn't... You would want to hide that, wouldn't you? Like, you would want to hide that you have Blackfire? I mean, think of all the things that happen because of Blackfire.
It's a straight-up lie, then. You're saying it's a straight-up lie, and one, unless Bloodraven brought Blackfire, which he didn't. He had the other one. So he had Dark Sister. So yeah, I don't see, unless somebody, another Targaryen king, which, I mean, that's a king's sword. So yeah, it would have to be somebody that got sent to the wall, and then Mormont got it because that person fell or something at the wall, and so Mormont ended up with it and then lied and made up a lie. I don't think he does that. I mean, Jorah's too much of an honorable guy. I don't think he does that. I think that Longclaw was truly in his family for thousands of years. I'm not buying it.
I don't know. Okay, so Bridge did confirm that Longclaw is a bastard.
Actually, it would be the ultimate bastard sword, because it was a bastard it got given to that started all that shit, the Blackfire rebellions. So when he got given to Daemon Blackfire, I mean, that almost in itself, that's probably what named bastard swords. They probably like, okay, whatever length Blackfire was, all other swords that were that length probably got dubbed as bastard swords because of that.
It would be cool. All I'm saying is it like comes back around, Jon.
He said it comes back around, Jon.
It would be cool, like if he ends up with Blackfire just out of nowhere.
I mean, it would. And I think the only way that happens is if it's down in the crypts. If Rhaegar was using Blackfire, because it is supposed to be the king's sword, and obviously Aerys wasn't using it. So if Rhaegar was using Blackfire to fight Robert and fell with it, and Ned took it, and it's in the crypts, and that's what's going to show Jon, like, you're the true king. This is actually your sword. Because that would make sense. He had Valyrian steel and basically lost it. And, now Sam's coming up with other Valyrian steel. And, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, that's definitely going to Jorah.
Right. Well, yeah, and supposing to the trailers. But, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Lots to think about and try to figure out with that and which way it's going and where it's going. We're definitely wrapping up over 2 hours, and I know everybody's been here and got a lot to do, so I don't want to keep everybody here too much longer, but definitely want to thank everybody for making their way out. You got anything else you want to break down this week, or I want to save it for next Tuesday, Andy?
We'll save it for next week, I think. Well, we only got 2 weeks until the show, right?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Is anybody else excited about that? What? That's so sweet. 2 weeks away. I'm actually, like I said, I'm almost kind of sad about it. It's like I'm so pumped for it to get here, but it's like, dude, when it's over, it's over. Like, oh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, but then I think that George is like just waiting for the season to finish so that, he can drop his next book. I think it's done, and he's just waiting till the season's over. Then maybe like a month later, he's gonna drop it.
Oh,
then then you'll just have something new to talk about.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of people are on that same page. Like, he's trying to wrap it up, and as soon as the show is over, he'll drop it. But I don't know, man. I think he's still a ways out, boy. He's that guy. I think he's so scared. I just think he's in his own head, man. I think he's so scared about it not living up to what everybody's got it hyped up to be that he's just too tripped out about it. He just wants it to be great. And it's like, dude, don't worry about it. Just write your story. We'll appreciate it for what it is. But, I mean, it's so hyped up. He knows there's no way it can live up to it. I mean, it's just...
That's what I'm saying. He's going to die. He's planning on dying before he finishes. Somebody else has to finish it. And then everybody will not accept that ending and then just accept the ending in their own head. And then it's a win-win-win for everybody.
Yeah, that's Fantasyland. Just like LMR, Fantasyland. I want him to drop the book like right when the end credits for the show drop.
Hashtag A Song of Ice and Fire, choose your own adventure.
Yeah, right.
That's my new shit.
What's up, chat? Drop in some names. What do you want to hear about? Andy's all down to do the book characters. I'm always down to do the book characters. And again, once the season's over, we'll be going die hard into the books for sure. But in the next couple of weeks, is there anybody special you guys want to hear about? Tom of Seven Strings, The Ghost of High Heart, Makoro, anybody you guys want to talk about? I'll break them all down. I love this book.
At least like one a week. I like the more obscure ones ones that everybody likes. That's cool too.
You like the Nimble Dick Crabs of it all, though.
Yeah. I just, something that you normally wouldn't even hear about in most channels because, for whatever reason. But also ones that are important to the story. Like I really liked Bale the Bard too.
Oh, I think Catherine's got it best. Talk about 1-1, the true hero of this story. My man just went down like a pincushion. It sucked.
But he's in the dang show, so
maybe.
I mean, we could talk about him and his freaking bitch ass death in the end.
I know they didn't one weg, one dar, one man. They didn't do that. Did not.
All I'm gonna say, if he's gonna die at the end, why didn't he just bust through the line of all the freaking shields and shit? All right, you're gonna die as a pincushion in the end anyway.
Right.
Shit, kick one of those people into all the other people.
Right. Make a hole.
Or do what what's her name said and just start smashing people into the ground like freaking nails. Like spikes, just one hand, boosh, smashing men into the dirt.
How about Husband? Remember that guy? Feel Husband, dude. The guy from the they're the ones running the Clanking Dragon at this point now, right? Like, get out there and do it, Husband. Don't drink the water though from the river because there's a bunch of dead people floating in it. Oh, dude, anybody from the Clanking Dragon, get down on all that stuff. Yeah, we'll be breaking down the books for sure. I like The Ghost of High Heart, obviously. That's a fun one. Sir Dantos, break him down. I mean, he was in the show, but more so in the books, the whole Duskendale thing. Lady Duskendale, she'd be a good one. She's just not happy with the Starks, but is she? It's all a ploy. She'd actually be a fun one to talk about.
Yeah.
Her and Theon going down in the crypts and shit. Looking like, what's she really all about? Still in love with Brandon and shit. Oh, yeah, there's some good ones. Yeah, we'll figure it out, and definitely one as a quarterback, not a running back. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely get another one, and yeah, we'll have a breakdown as well as talking about the show series and what's going on with it. We'll definitely break down another obscure book character and talk more about them. More people shine some light on those that need more love. Andy wants to talk about Darkstar, and that's one of my favorite characters, so he might be next week because I'm always down to talk some Darkstar. That bad motherfucker.
He has the coolest hair in the game.
Pretty boy asshole, just like the rest of them. He is the Jamie of Dorne.
For sure. Yeah, that's legit.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Thanks for being here, everybody. So glad you can make it out. Living My Rhapsody, Bridge 4, Moni, G, John. Again, thanks for all you did today, man. That was awesome. So good meeting you and seeing you on there today. Oh, my God. Catherine Harding, Moni. Thank you all for being here. JD, we'll talk to you soon. I know you were out. Bubba Husky, thanks for stopping in. And everybody else that made their way through. Definitely going to be doing this like we've been doing every single Tuesday night. So, man, I tried to get on a couple times during the weekend, but by the time I was ready to go on, it was like midnight here, which makes it 3 for you. So I was like, yeah, that's too late. But one of these days, we're going to get on another little side stream on besides Tuesday and chop it up about some stuff. But definitely want to thank Andy for being on here. You got anything major going on for the rest of the week?
A bunch of leg exercises. Still recovering from surgery, so I just lay in bed, non-weight bearing. So anytime, I mean, just hit me up. I'm right by my computer. So
absolutely. Everybody out there, make sure you throw some good vibes and some good thoughts Andy's way. We want to wish him definitely a speedy recovery.
Yeah, thanks everybody for showing up. It's been fun. I gotta admit when I'm wrong. I really did not expect DJ to do more than one stream before the season when I agreed to this. So no, it's been fun.
Look at that.
I was wrong.
Every single Tuesday, like clockwork.
Now I gotta eat like a ghost pepper or some shit.
We'll think of something good for you. Once again, I want to thank everybody for being out here. Definitely going to be back next Tuesday. Might even see you before that, but if not, definitely have an amazing weekend. And until we see you next time, game on.